Republicans who flipped the Senate, just picking South Dakota Senator John Thune, the current minority whip, as their new leader, defeating Texas Senator John Cornyn on the second ballot after a first round of voting knocked out Florida Senator Rick Scott.
On the first ballot, this was the breakdown. It was John Thune got 23, John Cornyn from Texas got 15, and Rick Scott got 13. But it's not first past the post. You have to have an outright majority of those casting ballots.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. The final vote for Thune, 29-24. The vote included incoming Republican senators and outgoing Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, who is now vice president-elect. Current Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is giving up his leadership post as the Senate's longest-serving party leader ever since 2007. The president-elect returns to the White House for the first time since leaving office nearly 4 years ago.
President-elect Trump sat next to President Biden in the Oval Office, a return to the White House following last week's election win.
Donald, congratulations. Thank you. And looking forward to having like we said, smooth transition.
President Biden promised President-elect Trump would have whatever he needs during the transition.
I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get.
Before meeting with President Biden, the president-elect met with House Republicans on Capitol Hill, telling them it's nice to win.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, just getting word that President Biden will hold talks with China's President Xi on the sidelines of an international summit in Peru. The White House has been working for months to arrange a final meeting between them before President Biden leaves office. No word on how the president and his advisors will address any questions raised by Chinese officials about the incoming Trump administration. America is listening to Fox News.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is DayQuil VapoCool.
DayQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
What we see is what we get the rest of this Wednesday afternoon. Plenty of clouds, couple showers, 61 for the high. This is not a lot of rain, less than 1/4 of an inch. Tonight, any showers out of the picture very quickly this evening, but clouds will stay with us all night long, 46. The clouds are gone on Thursday. Plenty of sunshine and 59. Friday and Saturday, sunny and 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you needed one more reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler, get this. Diamonds Direct maintains involvement in the entire diamond process and handpicks the best just for you. You see, any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but Diamonds Direct has special access that others simply don't have. Nobody can get closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Indeed, Diamonds Direct is recognized in the industry as a world diamond powerhouse with unrivaled buying power and decades of inside connection connections that go back to their roots as actual diamond cutters. Bottom line, Diamonds Direct is without question the jeweler here that can truly offer the absolute best value. We're true talking direct importer prices on hand-selected diamonds that come straight from the source. Make no mistake, Diamonds Direct refuses to be undersold on GIA-certified diamonds. And we challenge you, let us prove it. Diamonds Direct, your source for the ultimate diamond value. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being with us here today. The news mill just keeps going and going and going, and we're pretty excited for it. I have to tell you that it's very amazing to see the left very frustrated over like a TV personality who's going to, potentially lead people into war because they're real big fans of Zelensky.
I don't know where you were going with that. Gotcha. I walked right down the yellow brick road, and here we are in Emerald City.
I held your hand the whole time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Isn't it ironic?
It is pretty amazing.
Pete Hegseth found his way onto TV. After being an All-American BA, he found his way onto TV. Harvard grad, Princeton grad, two-time Bronze Star, served multiple tours overseas. But I honestly didn't know all of that stuff about him until after the news came out, and they're like, Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of Defense. And all three of us were like, what? I thought, are they going to pick Ryan Wiggins next?
I mean, I'm not saying no to anything that would be offered.
Let's be real here. The most realistic application of your skills in Trump's cabinet.
Probably as head of the FDA.
Just like a taste tester?
A taste tester is kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. Not for the drugs.
No?
I don't want to just take all the drugs, but the food.
Really good.
If Planters comes out with a new peanut butter, I'd be like, I guess I need to check that out.
Somebody needs to.
See if there's any non-GMOs in it.
Take one for the American team.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a meme of Robert F. Kennedy, and he's just got this totally straight deadpan face. He's looking right into the camera. And it said, the meme was like, every time I open a bag of potato chips full of chemicals and junk, I just think of RFK looking at me like this, and I put them back.
Like the Jesus meme, like, I'm watching.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
Lots of news continues to come through. The biggest news of the morning, two stories that I will highlight. The first being that Donald Trump just finished up a 90-minute meeting with Joe Biden. Would love to be a fly on that wall. Here's how I know that I'm on the right side of this news cycle, because I just want to know more from the entertainment standpoint. Like, I want to soak it in, and I want to understand it as if I'm watching a show unfold, as opposed to, okay, what's the next piece of news that I have to figure out how to deliver to the people and still make them turn into the show tomorrow? It's a totally different way of approaching the news cycle. Senator John Thune has been named the majority leader in the Senate. I know a lot of MAGA-type conservatives were pushing really hard for Rick Scott. Cornyn was in the mix there as well. Cornyn gets a lot of hate.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, it's like if you were looking, and I know a bit about all of the people who are, not all the people, a lot of the people who are in Congress, and I kind of know how they're painted. And I also know that a lot of people are painted in a particular way, that maybe they did one thing one time that the super swampy establishment hated, and so now they're like ultra MAGA deplorables.
Or vice versa.
And then it's the total reverse, which is you're somebody who's been MAGA, but then they compromise on one thing, and now they're dead to the MAGA people. There is nothing good for the American people that is going to be done by folks going to Washington, D.C. and not taking every issue for the issue that is at hand. You can apply your principles to it. I would hope that all of these senators, Democrats included, would have an America First mindset about their approach. I would hope that they would all have a priority consideration for the Americans that are at home, that they represent in their state, the policy that we're looking to enforce, the regulation we're looking to increase, the tax we're looking to implement. How does this affect the people in my state? That is where Donald Trump comes in. Because the deep state, the bureaucracy that is sustained from administration to administration to administration, has been served in place of the people. And the truth of the matter is that we have Republicans in the Senate, Collins in Maine, Murkowski in Alaska, two that come up specifically. Mitt Romney is gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
We don't have to do Mitt Romney crap anymore. We don't have to toe the line like, oh, he's a Republican vote and we really need him because the majority is razor thin. He's not there anymore. Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski keep getting elected in their states because they are who they are. And that's just the truth of the matter. And if they're representing their constituents in Maine and Alaska, and it doesn't feel a whole lot like what Missouri feels like, well, that's intentional. Because we are not their specific constituents. However, when you have a 53-seat majority in the Senate, it is a relief to the likes of Susan Collins, to the likes of Lisa Murkowski. Is there another Republican senator that's in there right now that I'm forgetting that is a very purple vote?
Not really. Those are the two main ones.
The
Romney would have been
are pretty
the
much
others. And he would have been like, yeah, I'll probably vote for it under the name Pierre Delecto.
So nobody
knows.
You can have a 51-vote majority. I mean, don't forget J.D. Vance is in there to break the tie. But you can have a 51-vote majority, and Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski can do whatever they think they need to do to represent their constituents. And if it's a super divisive issue, maybe sometimes they break Republican. If you're there and you know that you've got to break one way or the other, it depends on how they've campaigned. It depends on other commitments and promises that they've made to their constituents. I think Republicans and Democrats alike are very, very, very sick and tired of watching the people who go to Washington, D.C. represent whatever the interests of the backroom people in their party are telling them that they're going to do, and they want to be able to represent the people. And when you send those individuals to Washington, D.C. with a mandate, you make it very clear of what the agenda is. And the agenda is Donald Trump's. So people who are like boo-hooing over Rick Scott, he was off the first ballot. And then it came down to Cornyn and Thune ended up winning. Donald Trump was fine with all three of them. He had nobody he was telling people not to vote for. He didn't come out and endorse anyone. And to me, that's very smart politics on Donald Trump's part. Why pick one person and then have there be when we're in June of 2026 and something really important needs to happen and we're moving into an election year and now we got to take a stand because of some butthurt thing that happened with Senate leadership vote. Only one can be the Senate leader. And I really do believe that Donald Trump is the MAGA representation in this whole conversation. He sets the agenda. America resoundingly sent him to represent that MAGA agenda, that America First agenda. And if you're confused, I consider MAGA and America First synonymous. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
When you say MAGA, you're thinking America First.
Yeah, you say one to one crowd and the other to the other.
When Donald Trump is the executor, he's the one who brings the full-throated MAGA agenda to the table. You will need a broader audience to get some of these things through the House and the Senate. If the House is as razor thin, maybe 3 seats or something like that, you will need to be able to pass things that bring people in within your party. You want the Murkowskis and the Collins to vote for it. And I do think that if you have somebody who isn't 100% squarely in the MAGA wing, the America First mantra, that's not what they've branded themselves as, but have publicly committed to fulfilling the agenda that was laid out by the President of the United States, hand in hand with Mike Johnson in the House. And the reports are this morning that Mike Johnson's is a guy, there's not going to be any funny business. Hopefully it's a one ballot, one and done. When you go in with a plan to get stuff done, and you have the plan, my understanding is they have everything drafted already. This is going to be so rapid fire after January 20th. We are going to have to buckle up pretty tightly. Don't get wrapped up in this moment in time in how could they not pick Rick Scott? Everything is melting down and everything is off. Stop. Just don't. We can't be in a position where we get the biggest win of wins in my lifetime that I've paid attention to, and something like this trips you up. Senator Thune will have to adhere to the agenda that America spoke resoundingly they want to see enacted, especially in this first 2 years, and he's committed. He's committed to do that.
I don't doubt that either. I'm sure there's going to be stuff that we're going to criticize from John Thune and say you should have been more hardline on this or that. It's going to happen. We'll say the same thing about Mike Johnson, because that's what you do when you're governing. You have to make actual decisions now instead of being the ones that just lob bombs. Democrats get to sit on the sidelines and lob bombs for at least 2 years. But the thing that America voted for, the America First agenda, will be carried out. We're watching it happen before he's even in office because Trump is ready to roll.
Completely. I love watching all of these appointments come through. I love the commitment to getting the job done and having everything laid in so that upon inauguration, of course, Congress will be sworn in the first week of January. And then a few weeks later, you have the inauguration of Donald Trump back into the office of the presidency. We've got a lot to report on. We're going to continue to do that. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, our friend Robert C. Cahaly back on the Annie Fry Show with us. You definitely are going to want to check out his podcast. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that when we come back. And he's the chief pollster and founder of the Trafalgar Group as well. Let's see how Robert C. Cahaly feels about the pretty accurate polling that the Trafalgar Group was able to inform the American voter leading up to this election. We'll see what his thoughts are when we come back. Robert C. Cahaly in a minute.
I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah.
Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram Wagoneer. When you were shopping for a vehicle, CassensCan.com. That's CassensCan.com. They're located in Glen Carbon, Illinois. If you hop on 270 and head into the Metro East, 270, you jump off at 159 a mile north, and you're right in the Cassens parking lot at CassensCan.com for more details on the location. Your vehicle shopping experience is made simple with shopping at Cassens because they have a long history of satisfying customers with great deals on really great cars. You can trust the car you're going to purchase from Cassens. I myself drive a Chrysler Pacifica. First car I've ever purchased new, bought it in 2019, still driving it, going to drive it for as long as it will go. And it has been a great vehicle for my family, keeps my kiddos safe. I can trust them. I go back to Cassens to have the car maintained. and they're great in the service department as well. If you're looking for honesty in sales, if you're looking for effort to make sure that they can hustle to get you the car of your dreams, reach out to Cassens and find out how they can help you today. Online at cassenscan.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Take my hand, finish my drink, say, shall we dance? Hell yeah. You know I love you, did I ever tell you? You make it better like that. Don't think I fit in at this party. Everyone's got so much to say.
Donald Trump, you remember back in 2017, the liberal cities were the resistance, the core of the resistance. What happened in 2024? You think of a major city in the United States, Donald Trump put up the best Republican performance for a Republican nominee for president in at least 20 years, if not the entire 21st century. We're talking about Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City, San Francisco. Across the map, Donald Trump put up historically strong numbers for Republican candidate, for president, in places that, truthfully, if you had asked me 8 years ago, I would have never thought possible.
CNN's Harry Enton talking about Donald Trump's success. And, of course, we saw those swing states all go red, but it's a very interesting story as well to look at the numbers. And some of the places that still went blue, but Donald Trump still made significant gains in. The man who has been studying all of this throughout the course of this campaign, and I kind of wonder how excited Robert C. Cahaly is to be on this side of the election. We welcome him back to the Annie Frey Show. You know him as the chief pollster and founder of the Trafalgar Group. He's also on a podcast, which you absolutely must subscribe to, Polling Plus with Robert Cahaly and Matt Towery. Robert, welcome back to the show. Thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you for having me. You know, it's amazing when you listen to somebody like Harry Enton, you can tell as much as his network leans left, he loves data.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell he really gets into it. And there's a few others like that. And then there's some who are so partisan in the way they look at data, they can't even admit what's happening.
Yeah.
But I like watching him particularly, and can't remember the guy on NBC, but he's pretty good too.
Yeah, you can watch them when they're reporting. They kind of get into like an aggressive defensive stance next to the TV, and they're pointing around and everything. They have a real excitement.
He knows how significant it is, and just the change of the data is what's exciting to him, not who wins. And we feel a lot that same way. I mean, obviously I'm a Republican, but you know, if I'm being honest, on election night, I'm cheering for my polls. I'm cheering for to have had the best polls I could possibly have. One thing I will address from your previous discussion, you know, if you don't like the Senate Majority Leader, how about one simple thing? We elect the House Majority in front of everybody on the planet. Why is this a secret?
Yeah.
Maybe that should stop.
Yeah.
Maybe they should elect the Senate Majority Leader the same way they elect the House Majority Leader, because secret promises that the voters don't know about. I mean, I'm not a big fan of people taking secret ballots in representative bodies to begin with, but the most important vote they take is one you don't know about. That's not a good idea.
I find that to be an interesting point, because you know, if you've got to vote for somebody, then stand by it. It's not as if you're asking anyone to change their vote. You're just asking to make sure that the people in the state of Illinois, where I live, which doesn't have any Republican senators, but in Missouri, where we have two, I would like to know how Senators Hawley and Schmidt voted on that. That's of interest to folks here that live in the state. I think it's a great point. What is your overall? I just want to give you the open floor here. We're speaking with Robert C. Cahaly on the polling, the data that you were able to derive leading up to this election. I feel like from our conversations that we had leading up to this, the Trafalgar Group in your polling was pretty spot on.
Yeah, Matt Towery with Insider Advantage and I have a little bit of distinction among the pollers. We were the only pollsters who predicted a Trump win, but did not overestimate his support in a single state. So sometimes the Republican guys get accused of being, oh, you're just in the tank for the GOP. You'll say whatever. Well, we predicted the win, but every single state he exceeded what we said. He never got below it, and I think that's significant. One, it proves we were right down the line. We weren't just saying what the GOP audience wanted to say, and sometimes they weren't happy about that. But when it's all said and done, all the votes are counted, and it may be a while with Arizona and Nevada to get to full counting. But when it's all done, it looks like our error rate is going to be between 1.4 and 1.6. That's better than we did in 20. And in 20, we were number 2. And that's better than we did in 16. And in 16, we were number 1.
Nice.
So that is a tremendous, our cumulative error rate in presidential elections is obscenely low. I mean, we're talking right at 2 total. And that nobody's even close to that. But it's doing it once, I always joke about, broken clock can be right once a day. But, consistently doing this in every presidential election we've been a part of, we're proud of that. We're proud of our backyard in North Carolina and Georgia, getting 0.2 of a point off of each one of them. That's especially hard, because I think I've always thought those were the states that were going to be hard, because I think Kamala increased enthusiasm in those places while she decreased it in the blue wall states. I said from the beginning, I thought she was going to be a bigger threat in the Sun Belt than she was in the Rust Belt, because Rust Belt people were not going to embrace her. And there were lots of people in the Sun Belt who were just not going to vote or not energized. And she provided that energy. And we saw it. I mean, it was palpable here in Atlanta. I mean, you can see it everywhere. They did a good job of turning out, but they just didn't do what they could have done. And also the increased accountability. There weren't random drop boxes. Everybody wasn't mailed an absentee ballot this time. You had to make an effort. You had to show your ID. And there was a lot of that around the country. And I think that also contributed to this being able to be counted in most states on election night, and to this being seen as extremely fair. And most of these states, you had to jump through some hoops to vote by absentee in the mail, and you had to show voter ID if you voted early in person. And until we can get some kind of system where everybody votes on election day, except for a very few exceptions, this is as close as you're going to get, and this is good. It also let the campaigns focus on low propensity because the voters they had were already in the bank.
Yeah, the early vote really did pan out, right?
Robert, this is Ryan Wiggins. There's always this tone that the mainstream media uses when they report on a right-leaning pollster. Oh, it's a right-leaning pollster. But you guys were the most accurate. I mean, you chief among them, as you were just outlining. Is something changing in the industry where they're going to have to stop saying, well, they have an R next to their name?
Well, I mean, they say that, but the thing is, it's like we're expected to believe that, as a Republican myself, I can't possibly put an honest poll, but a left-leaning media organization can put out an honest poll. A left-leaning university can put out an honest poll. A left-leaning network or a right-leaning network trying to appear to be down the middle can put out a poll that's a little left finger on the left. All that can happen, but we have to get a label. And listen, they got this little club. They're all in it, this little association, and they go and give each other awards and all that kind of stuff, and saying how they weren't wrong, and figuring out if they were wrong, what they did wrong. I mean, they've got their own little way of doing it, and if you don't do it the way they think you should do it, it doesn't matter whether you're right. It's one of those things that's the kind of invention, the innovation from the factory room floor that made America, but they don't like it. That's not the way we build a car. We don't care if it's faster and more efficient. That's not the way we do it. And in most industries, this goes by the wayside. But since they control it, since each one of the media organizations decide which other media organizations are legitimate polls, I mean, they always talk about the quality polls. I'm going to tweet out election night. I said, can somebody remind me who the quality polls are? I'm confused.
Exactly.
And I think I had like 5,000 likes. I mean, and it was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we have to deal with this every year. And, and then, my gosh, that nonsense with Ann Seltzer. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. What do you think
last
about
minute
that?
Iowa poll.
How bad was that poll? Explain how that
first of all,
happened.
everybody tells you this is the gold standard of polling. All right, she's perfect, all that stuff. First of all, this is the lady who said that Trump was going to beat Cruz, and he didn't. This is the lady that said that Florida slip here. Nikki Haley was going to come in second in Iowa and beat DeSantis by a significant margin. She didn't. And so there have been a lot of pretty big misses that were on the scale. So to me, I know she has this record of being so great, kind of like I was in college. I did so well the first few years, and it kind of trailed off at the end. It still looked good at that final grade point average, but it wasn't because of what I did the last 2 years, let me tell you.
You didn't finish
And
strong.
I think she's living on like a 20-year reputation right now. And, all I can say is I hope she get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because that was extremely damaging to her career, and it gave the entire Democrat Party it gave them a little burst of energy at the end. They kind of like popping out your chest at the line in a race. I mean, it really did. Even the so-called unmovable, the prognosticators, both of the big ones changed their model to the end to like move it up to the vice president 51 and Trump 49. After that weekend, they all bought into it. They all got scared they were wrong.
You know, we're speaking with Robert C. Cahaly right now. I wonder about, I assume, I don't know what it would be, that you don't really have to pull whatever the Trump effect is anymore, the quiet Trump voter. There's always a question mark about.
Oh, it's quiet.
It's quiet, yes. And you've been very close with factoring all of that in. But is it too soon to tell? What does polling look like in the future for the next Republican? Do you have any anticipation on whether that Trump effect, that quiet vote, will maintain? Or do you think that there will be a little more boldness in people's willingness to talk about who they support?
Yeah, we're going to do some little exercises in the next few months to kind of test that out. But, you know, that's called the social desirability bias. And that's existed before. It exists not only when you don't want to admit who you're for, it also exists when you don't want to admit who you're not for. You know, some people go back to the Bradley versus Duke Majan in California. Bradley was the former black mayor of Los Angeles. The poll said he would win, and he lost. And you know, I grew up in South Carolina, so we always watched Jesse Helms. They said if Jesse Helms was only losing by 5, he was going to win. And so I kind of saw both ends of this. And I mean, we even saw it in South Carolina the first time we did statewide polls. Nikki polled better than she did. You know, we had never had a woman governor. We hadn't had an Indian governor. She polled a little better than she did. I mean, she still won, but there was a few people didn't want to say they were for her. I mean, didn't want to admit they weren't for her. And so what I saw that this year a little bit. If there was any one person other than Trump, I saw it with Carrie Lake. I knew Carrie Lake would close strong and said so. And a lot of people just saw these polls showing her so far down. But if there's stigma to saying you're Donald Trump, trust me, there's stigma saying you're Carrie Lake.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the same. So, yeah, I think that it will be to that degree on some people. But I think the idea that you are just, one of the things they were afraid of the most in 2024 wasn't being judged. It was being targeted, having their name on a list.
That's a huge difference.
You know?
Yeah.
And I see a huge difference and relief from people. I mean, people tell me they're going to go out and buy some more bullets. They're going to go buy some more guns. They're just not worried about their own government tracking them right now.
Yeah.
How they were in the past. And I think that's what's going to hopefully be different. I mean, and I think Trump will surprise people. I don't expect to see the Trump Justice Department going after and trying to lock up his enemies. I don't see that happening. He didn't do it to Hillary Clinton. I mean, he easily could have. And so I don't really see them doing that. And I certainly don't see them doing that after average Americans. Like, I mean, you know, in the way that pro-lifers saying a prayer for an abortion clinic.
Yeah, domestic
and got
terrorists.
locked up. I don't see them doing that to a pro-choice protester. I just don't see the Trump administration sending, you know, a SWAT team to their house. I think that overreaction was the kind of thing that was pretty much a Biden team kind of thing.
Robert C. Cahaly on the phone with us, chief pollster and founder at the Trafalgar Group. My question for you, Robert, is we talk about this on the show all the time, that how much can a media outlet influence, like we're talking about New York Times Siena, for instance, how much influence would the New York Times have over their pollster Siena? Is it they're inextricably linked, or are they kind of independent, or does it depend on the outlet?
They're totally independent. There's no way a polling company would ever want to make a poll that makes the people paying them happy. Come on. Really? I mean, I can tell you one of the hardest things you ever have to do as a pollster, and believe me, I've had to do it, is sit down in front of a candidate and tell them just how badly they're doing.
Oh.
It is so much easier to tell them they're doing great and let them smile, and on election night, when they get shot, you've already left. and trust me, this business is full of people who do that.
Man.
Wow.
But no, it's hard. It's hard. And because, you know, I mean, you only get to do that for so long, and none of somebody wants somebody else. I mean, that's what you're looking at. And so you have to be very careful with that. So yeah, I think everybody has a boss. That's the way it is. Everybody's got a boss somewhere. Whether it's overt pressure, whether it's covert pressure, is debatable. I'm not going to speak to what any one of them is. But what I will say, and what I've said for years, is a poll has one of two purposes. It's designed to reflect the electorate, or it's designed to affect the electorate. And I think we saw a lot of polls designed to affect the electorate in this election. And a lot of, some of us were out there and just trying to make sure the straight scoop was getting out of there. And trust me, we weren't always getting, I would get something like, well, why some polls say Trump's doing better than your polls do? Because he ain't doing that good. That was what I answered, because he ain't doing that good yet. I'll tell you when he's doing good. But the other thing is, a lot of these guys miss. They say, when did it change? Let me tell you what it changed. The weekend of the second assassination attempt.
Yeah.
Because Matt and I were both in the field that weekend. We had data to compare for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. And the tick up was in two of the biggest battleground states, Georgia and Pennsylvania, and it was significant.
Wow.
And it never changed. And so that's when Trump started up. She started to go down the more people learned about her. But when Trump started to move up was that. Because that was that moment, that galvanizing moment. It doesn't matter what you think, whether you think there's a grand conspiracy or whatever you think. It's just like, that's when average people said, all these attacks on this guy, all the lawfare, all the keeping him off the ballot, the first assassination, this is not random. There are forces trying to keep this guy from being president. And if the people that are running things and control things the way they are hate him that much, I should be for it.
Man, that's such an
We
interesting...
got a lot of people who didn't like him.
Yes.
Who said, I don't like you, but the stuff that's happened to him makes me have to vote for him.
Bridge too far for a lot of voters. Robert C. Cahaly, we follow your polls very closely. We're grateful for your time on this show leading up to the election and today. And as you continue to study the electorate out there, we'd love to hear what you and your partner there have learned. Encourage people to check out.
Remember, Matt's not a partner. We have two separate polling companies.
Okay.
We're just very dear friends. He's in Atlanta tonight, and he's having a big event for the magazine that he owns. But no, we're just buddies. So
you got a podcast, though, right?
I'd love to tell you we collaborate, but no, we do our polls completely separately. And often find different results, but not usually.
Yeah. Polling Plus with Robert Cahaly and Matt Towery. That podcast is still up and going, I assume?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Just had a very fun one to end up the election cycle. That's out now. Just check it out. Anywhere you get podcasts, just type in the word polling.
All right. Thank you, Robert. We appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you've done here leading up here. We appreciate you very much.
You have a great show. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Shows like yours are why this election got won. Not big mainstream media.
That's very kind of you. We appreciate you. We'll have you back again soon. Robert C. Cahaly, chief pollster and founder at the Trafalgar Group. Go subscribe to Polling Plus and hear what he has to say. We're going to take a quick break. Ryan, if you will, the Senate Majority Leader, I believe, is going to be speaking here very shortly. We're going to take a quick break, lead into that, and maybe an extended Wiggins America in the 1 o'clock hour.
Sure, yeah, breaking news right now. So
yeah. There's other senators talking right now in this moment. We're going to get to Thune when he speaks. So keep it right here. Get on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, and we want you to vote in this poll. Do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? Yes or no? Love your comments. We're going to make it a point of discussion in the 2 o'clock hour. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan, just a phone call or a text message away to get directly to Stewie. When I tell you this number, every once in a while I'm talking to Stewie about what's going on when the Fed raises rates, lowers rates, doesn't do anything with rates, whatever. When I talk to Stewie, it's on this number. So I'm going to give it to you, and you can text him right now to see if you can get your mortgage situation improved. Or if you're shopping for a new home, to get pre-approved, to get access to that pre-approval letter for whatever, you're going to get pre-approved for X amount, but you might not be offering that amount on a home. You can generate your own pre-approval letters with Stewart's American Mortgage. Take out the middleman, generate that yourself, and it's ready to go right when you need it. Plus, if you get a mortgage with Stewart's American Mortgage, he can close that sucker in less than 2 weeks. You're about to be a very competitive purchaser for the home that you're looking to buy when you partner with Stewart's American Mortgage. And the best part, the bagel loan, only available at Stewart's American Mortgage, $0 in closing costs. You go through the whole process, you get to closing, cha-ching, you got to pay out thousands of dollars maybe. Not with the bagel loan. Doesn't exist. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Have you ever been told you can't get into the water for 30 minutes after eating because you can cramp up and drown? And then you were told if you eat watermelon seeds, you're going to grow a watermelon in your stomach. Swallowing gum it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. Don't sit too close to the TV or you'll go blind. Wow, these aren't your peers saying this is your, people you're counting on that you believe and you trust. Or the air conditioning that we have now isn't good enough for you, so you need to do this? I don't know, guys. If you have questions, you have doubts, and you want common sense approach to, heating and cooling your home affordably, call me, Bart Inman, one real easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-5165. 800-499-5165. 800-499-5165.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows. Sebastian Maniscalco, Enterprise Center, December 14th. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Enterprise Center, December 18th. Brooks and Dunn, Enterprise Center, April 25th. Thomas Rhett, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, May 29th. And Parker McCollum, Chaffetz Arena, February 14th.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Where do you go for your annual eye health examination? Ophthalmology Associates, of course. Doctors Greg Birdie and Ranjan Malhotra. Dr. Robert Bersati, he's the one I saw. Or Dr. Andrew Royer. They are available to you and are there to take care of all your vision needs at Ophthalmology Associates. They're on Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Your vision is their business at Ophthalmology Associates. In fact, many of their patients are doctors themselves. That's why they call themselves the doctors, Ophthalmology Associates. Are your eyes itchy and scratchy? It could be more than just allergies. They're the leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment. They're the leaders in LASIK and discussing those procedures. And if you're having difficulty reading or driving at night, you have glare from oncoming headlights, could be early signs of cataracts, and they can talk to you about multifocal lens implants. Ophthalmology Associates, youridoc.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Today's Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll is, do you have any fractured relationships over the 2024 election? Joe chimes in online and says, my younger brother and I were tenuous at best, but he's off the island now. It was bound to happen. We'd like to know if you have any fractured relationships over this election. I particularly would like to know because I want to know whether this is common or if it's, just a handful of people. 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Now it's time for the Aftermath Analysis. Keep it here post-election to get details and commentary on everything the mainstream media isn't reporting on. Democracy 2024. The vision and strategy for 2025 is here. This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. It's a new day in the United States Senate, and it's a new day in America. The American people have loudly rejected the failed policies of the Biden, Harris, Schumer agenda. And this Republican team is united. We are on one team. We are excited to reclaim the majority and to get to work with our colleagues in the House to enact President Trump's agenda. We have a mandate from the American people, a mandate not only to clean up the mess left by the Biden-Harris-Schumer agenda, but also to deliver on President Trump's priorities. We will make sure that the President and his team have the tools and the support that they need to enforce border security laws and to remove the violent criminals who are wreaking havoc in every one of our states. We will work to make America prosperous again by streamlining the bureaucratic machine and overturning costly Biden-Harris regulations. And we will work to restore American energy dominance. Not just our energy security, but energy dominance, which will lower costs and bolster our national security. I'm excited to get to work with this team right away, and I want to thank my colleagues who placed their faith in me to serve as leader, and to those who were supporting another candidate. I promise to be a leader who serves the entire Republican conference. We'll have an ambitious agenda, and we'll take each and every Republican working together to be successful. With that, I want to turn things over to Senator John Barrasso, the newly elected Republican whip.
Thank you. On election night, America saw the remaking of the Republican Party for the better. This election was about the answering to the question of, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And the American people said no. Only 1 in 4 Americans thought that the country was heading in the right direction. And you've seen the Republican Party grow in terms of hardworking middle-class families, in terms of minorities, in terms of young people, in terms of families struggling to get by. In the last 3 weeks before the election, I was all over the country with President Trump, with J.D. Vance, as well as a number of our Senate candidates. One of the stories that stuck with me was a woman in Michigan who talked about the fact that she was embarrassed to let her husband know that she had to go to the local food bank in order to get by. Republicans listened to those stories. Democrats were focused on President Trump. Republicans were focused on the needs of the American people, people who wanted to get prices down, wanted to secure the border, wanted us to unleash American energy, people who wanted to make America look and be strong once again around the world. That's what the Republicans listened to, that's what we're responding to, and we are now working together to make sure we can put America back on track.
The newly elected Republican conference chair is the Senator from Arkansas, Senator Tom Cotton.
Thank you, Senator Thune. I'm looking forward to working with Senator Thune and the rest of this leadership team. I'm very grateful for the confidence that my peers placed in me. We all remember what it was like when President Trump was in office and we had Republicans in charge of the Senate. We had low prices, we had high wages, we had a secure border, we had a strong military, we had a peaceful, stable world. Starting on January 3rd, that's what we'll all be working to build again with President Trump, with Mike Johnson and the rest of the House Republicans on behalf of the American people. Thank you all.
Thanks, Tom. The newly elected Republican policy chair is the senator from West Virginia, Senator Shelley Moore Capito.
Thank you, and congratulations to our new leader, John Thune. He will be a strong voice, as he has been in the past, as the whip, and I look forward to serving with him and with all of our leadership team. I want to thank the others that ran. We had a really strong, healthy discussion, and we've all come out united and friends. And one of the people that was in our discussion is one of the people that is going to, although he didn't say anything, his presence was very much felt, and that is the Vice President-elect, J.D. Vance. I think the fact that he not only was a voting member of our conference, but also in there with us every step of the way to make sure that the direction that we're going to go as a united conference, and with me leading the policy issues, and all of us working together, that we're going to have a united voice. And I'll say one thing about the election. I've said this on all my local stations. What I think the biggest issue was, and there are big ones, border and national security and others, it is literally the American family, the mom and the dad, the grandmother, whoever it is, going to the grocery store. We do it all the time, every week, and we could see, all of us could see, the escalating costs of something so very basic to us, just the cost of food, and hearing from the Vice President in her campaign, the economy's doing great, don't worry. And so we hear those voices, we hear them loud and clear, and those are the voices that we're going to respond to, along with President Trump, through the next several years.
Thanks, Shelley. The newly elected Senate Republican Conference Vice Chair is the Senator from Oklahoma, Senator James Lankford.
Hey, congratulations to John Thune. We're looking forward to his great leadership there. Republicans were asked a very simple thing. Can you get us back on track? Over 70% of the country right now believes the country is on the wrong track. Our task is going to be very, very simple: to defend our values, to be able to strengthen us as a nation, and to be able to bring prosperity to people that are really struggling right now. That's a primary issue for us, and all of those things are things that we're going to get onto immediately, because the American people have spoken and said we do not like the direction that the country is going, so let's get us back on a better direction. So this leadership team, President Trump, J.D. Vance, we're headed in a direction to be able to get the country back on the track that she is looking for.
Thanks, James. And the newly elected chairman of the Senate National Republican Senatorial Committee chair is the senator from South Carolina, and he is already planning on expanding our majority in 2026. So, Senator Tim Scott.
Hey, brother. Without any question, President Trump set out to make sure that Americans felt like this country and the American dream was alive and well and there for them. From the border to fixing the economy, to solving the issue of crime and restoring confidence on the global stage, President Trump has been very clear on his agenda. Our goal with our leader, John Thune, is to make sure that we achieve those objectives. My passion is making sure that we defend our current seats and expand the map and expand our majority so that President Trump does not have 2 years with a Republican majority in the Senate, and he has 4 years in control of making sure that America's agenda comes home to each and every household.
Thanks, Tim. A couple quick questions.
Well, that is the Senate leadership speaking from Washington, D.C. Senator Thune leading the conversation there. I'm so excited about the victories that I know that there are people who wanted Tim Scott.
Rick Scott.
Rick Scott?
Yeah.
Yes. Rick?
Yeah.
Gosh, is that his name? I don't know.
A lot of Scotts.
I wanted Tim
Too many
Scott.
Scotts, really.
I was talking about people that wanted Tim Scott. That was me. I'm people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I made it up.
He got one vote. It was Annie.
I'm just happy. I don't think that the Rick Scott nay is a bad thing. Let's talk more about it with Deroy Murdock when we come back. Don't go away. Air Comfort Service online at aircomfortservice.com. If it is not your comfort zone in your house, you just need to call 314-513-0091. and they'll get you in your comfort zone in no time. Right now, they have double carrier cool cash opportunities for you to save big this November, but the clock is ticking on this deal. So call 314-513-0091 and talk to them if you need a new furnace, boiler, heat pump, an entire HVAC system. When you call the team at Air Comfort Service, ask them how they are going to hook you up with the best deal in the business. First of all, ask them for a free estimate. Then find out how you can save up to $4,400 with double carrier cool cash rebates on a qualifying HVAC equipment. Plus, you could qualify for 0% financing up to 72 months, utility rebates, tax credits. Save with the very best in the business, where I go for our HVAC needs in the Fry House. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. Change is coming in Washington. I'm Lisa Brady. Senate Republicans choosing South Dakota's John Thune to be their new leader.
We have a mandate from the American people. A mandate not only to clean up the mess left by the Biden-Harris-Schumer agenda, but also to deliver on President Trump's priorities.
Thune is the current minority whip, but he'll become the Senate Majority Leader next year after Republicans flipped the Senate. Current Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer congratulating him on the Senate floor.
I look forward to working with him. We've done many bipartisan things here in the Senate together, and I hope that continues.
Schumer noting there's significant work to do before the new Congress begins, including a spending bill to avoid a possible government shutdown next month. President-elect Trump back at the White House today for an Oval Office meeting with President Biden, who said welcome back as they shook hands, also reiterating his pledge of a smooth transition. The president-elect offering his appreciation after an earlier meeting with House Republicans.
I just want to thank everybody. You've been incredible. We worked with a lot of you to get you in. And you helped me, and you helped me too.
Adding it's nice to win. Congress holds its second public hearing on UFOs, or as they're now called, UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena. Retired Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet telling the House Oversight Committee he had experiences with UAP during military training exercises.
Now that we know UAP are interacting with humanity, and these include unidentified submerged objects in the ocean, we should not turn a blind eye, but instead boldly face this new reality and learn from it.
He accuses the government of actions to cover up their existence. Others are hoping the incoming Trump administration will release secret files. Amtrak just suspending all trains between New York and Washington until at least 3 p.m. Eastern, so another hour, because of ongoing issues with overhead power lines. America is listening to Fox News.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
What we see is what we get the rest of this Wednesday afternoon. Plenty of clouds, couple showers, 61 for the high. This is not a lot of rain, less than 1/4 of an inch. Tonight, any showers out of the picture very quickly this evening, but clouds will stay with us all night long, 46. The clouds are gone on Thursday. Plenty of sunshine and 59. Friday and Saturday, sunny and 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you're thinking of getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. As in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those others on hold with Reinhold Flooring. Stop by Telegraph Road or learn more at reinholdflooring.com. Listen, you've been making house payments for years, right? And right now your home's value has never been higher, right? That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel, everything you want. The catch is you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with TrueHold, sell and stay leaseback program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to TrueHold while the value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay in your home as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And TrueHold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a TrueHold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-855-300-9993. That's 1-855-300-1993. Or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out. TrueHold.com.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's Enhanced Network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride.
It's time to book your holiday parties today with Grill Master Tony. Mark Cox here. Grill Master Tony's schedule is starting to fill up. So make your holiday parties easier and tastier with Grill Master Tony for your holidays. It is the season. Choose from brisket or pulled pork or chicken and all the sides, the roasted potatoes, the bourbon baked beans, the French bread from Pete's Italian Bakery on the Hill. Also, don't forget your company parties and your holiday lunches. Visit GrillMasterTony.com.
Police officers and firefighters get in the ring for the 37th Budweiser Guns N' Hoses presented by Stiefel. It's the night before Thanksgiving at the Enterprise Center. Get your tickets now at STLGunsandHoses.com.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Have a new leader in the United States Senate. It is John Thune, the Republican from South Dakota. He won on the second ballot. There were two ballots here taken. On the first ballot, this was the breakdown. It was John Thune got 23, John Cornyn from Texas got 15, and Rick Scott got 13. But it's not first past the post. You have to have an outright majority of those casting ballots. There are 53 Republicans voting in this leadership election here, so you had to get 27. Now, I've asked for a vote total here. How many John Thune won by, we don't know. But that second ballot was between Thune and Cornyn, and John Thune has prevailed. It's interesting about John Thune. You know, he came to the Senate in 2004, and he beat another leader in the Senate, Tom Daschle. Tom Daschle had been the minority leader and the majority leader, and it was John Thune, who had served in the House previously, who beat Tom Daschle in 2004. So he will be the person working with President-elect Trump and presumably House Speaker Mike Johnson in the new Congress.
Well, that's Mr. Pergram at Fox News reporting on the latest from Capitol Hill. John Thune getting that majority leader spot. This among the many appointments that we're seeing from Donald Trump come in for his cabinet picks. A lot of them raising eyebrows, but they all seem to be in that lane of America First, of what he has committed in his campaign, in his election victory to this point in time. And we want to talk to our friend Deroy Murdock about how he is feeling about the cabinet assembling around our president-elect, Donald Trump. Nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, Deroy Murdock, with us once again. Welcome back to the show, Deroy. It's good to have you here.
Great to be with you again, Annie.
So as the cabinet picks are coming in, any that you are super excited about, any that you're raising your eyebrows surrounding?
Very good question. I'd say just overall, the speed at which President-elect Trump is putting in his team is incredible. I mean, he's certainly not wasting any time at all. We've got, I guess, rumored Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who's very capable as the, I think, ranking member on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Somebody who spent a lot of time thinking and speaking and probably writing about foreign policy. My colleague Pete Hegseth at Fox News, I was out last night. I came home and just saw something online about Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. I thought, okay, somebody's speculating or some wild, crazy rumor. I looked, he actually was nominated by the president. It was really a big surprise to everybody. And Trump is picking very interesting people, very unconventional people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to lead this Department of Government Efficiency, to go through the entire budget and the entire bureaucracy. As apparently Musk just said on X, he said, threat to democracy? No, threat to bureaucracy. I thought that was very good. And this is all terrific. So my only concerns are, I'm looking right now, we only have 216 Republican seats in the U.S. House, and President Trump wants to remove Elise Stefanik and put her in as UN ambassador, and Mike Waltz of Florida, Republican congressman from Florida, put him in as the national security advisor. I think they're both very capable. I think they'll be terrific in those positions. But it's not like we've got a nice big fat majority with a lot of House seats to spare. I mean, it's been 1 week since, it's been 8 days since the election, and we're still not at 218. So, I hope it gets to the point where, we can handle having two people not there as, very difficult, close, and controversial votes come up. Or maybe these people have to start their jobs March or April or something once we've had special elections and so on. So that's my only big concern, is just picking people out of the House when there's not even a majority yet.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking to watch as these numbers are creeping closer to 218. We haven't gotten it yet, but of course, if you have 219, 220, 221 at the end of the day, you have very, very, if almost no room for error. If somebody gets sick or
Correct.
has a something that they have to attend to, it's a very dicey situation. The Department of Government Efficiency, the Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy pair up to try to get our government to work more for the American people, to be more efficient. What do you think about this particular establishment of Donald Trump's vision going into his next presidency?
I think it's fantastic, and I don't know if it will be an actual cabinet department or if it will really be sort of like a super commission or an office in the White House. I'm not sure if it's the actual legal structure, but in terms of what they intend to do, you've got Vivek Ramaswamy, who's a very successful investor and I think investment banker type or a hedge fund person who's big in the markets and very intelligent, very sharp, and very, very eloquent. And you've got Elon Musk, who's basically the richest man on earth and also essentially the Thomas Edison of our era, both of them going through all of the different cabinet departments and agencies and boards and commissions and so on that the federal government has, and finding out things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing. There's no real constitutional mandate for them to do these sorts of things. In many cases, there may be something worth doing, but rather than having, one or two job training programs, we might have a dozen. Can't we just collapse them into one or collapse them into two? Other areas where the private sector could do a better job or state and local governments could do a better job. I have no doubt these guys are going to be able to go through and find all sorts of things in the government that Uncle Sam should not be doing. And then it'll be up to Trump and Congress either to pass legislation to pare things down, or quite simply, I think a very easy way to do it is just don't put any money in the budget for it. You can keep the XYZ commission, just don't provide any money, and they can keep their name on the door, but they don't want any money to do anything, engage in any activity, and the people there either can be given severance offers and told, here's a check for $100,000, tax-free, good luck, go to grad school, buy yourself a vacation home, whatever it is. In some cases, people may not want to leave. In which case, I think you'll have a lot of people at the Department of Justice and the FBI, for example, need to be cleaned out. The people who've been engaging the Russia hoax and so on. If they won't leave, just move them to the FBI office in Anchorage, Alaska.
Yeah.
And if they like it up there, they can stay there and be out of the way. And if they don't like it, they can resign and go get jobs at law firms or go become local prosecutors or whatever else it is.
Deroy, do you feel
creative ways to do this?
Yeah. Do you feel like the idea of spreading out our government structures so that they're not all located right there inside the Beltway in Washington, D.C., does that offer a pretty distinct advantage at being able to efficiently get the job done, but maybe paring it down a little bit?
I agree with that, definitely. I don't see why the Department of Agriculture is in the middle of a completely urban area with no farms. So maybe the Department of Agriculture should be, maybe St. Louis.
Yeah, we'll take it. We got a lot of my family has a farm. We can take it right out here.
A lot of farms within 20-minute or half-hour to 1-hour drive of where you are, much more than in D.C. That's one thought. Maybe the Department of Commerce should be in some more industrial area. I don't know, maybe somewhere in industrial Pennsylvania, perhaps. Maybe the if it's worth even keeping, and that's very debatable. But the National Endowment for the Arts maybe ought to be out in Hollywood, where a lot of the arts industry is. That would make a lot of sense. They'll be closer to the actual areas that they either regulate or subsidize or oversee, and people in those areas can go in and say, look, rather than having to jump on a plane to go talk to somebody at the Department of Agriculture, you hop in your car or hop in your truck and go talk to some bureaucrat about whatever it is going on your farm that needs attention. I think that'd be very sensible, and I think you get people probably who do that who will be much more actually dedicated to the mission of whatever those departments do, rather than just saying, okay, I live in Georgetown or Arlington, Virginia, in some very comfortable place, and drive 10-15 minutes to your office in Department of Agriculture and spend all day long telling people what to do.
Yeah, I think that it's an innovative idea. It's a different way of doing the same thing and potentially working to make it more efficient. I think that type of creative thinking is really important to being able to achieve the task ahead. Before we let you go, we're speaking with Deroy Murdock right now. I'm curious what you think about Congress's ability, razor-thin majority likely for Republicans in the House. Now we have a Senate Majority Leader in Senator John Thune. Do you feel as though Donald Trump's mandate in his reelection, being able to sweep all those swing states, do you feel as though the Republican Party as a whole in D.C. is going to be united to get done the job that Donald Trump was sent there to get, or how quickly will this turn petty?
That's a good question. I think certainly early on, given Trump's tremendous mandate, there's no question that this man won not just the Electoral College, but the popular vote, and not just the popular vote, but a majority of the vote. People have won the popular vote, but it's 40%. He won 50.3 or so percent, so he won a majority of the votes. Excuse me, all 7 swing states. So no question that the American public voted for his program and voted to reject Bidenism and Kamalaism. And I think Republicans would be very smart to keep that in mind and give the American people what they want, which is the Make America Great Again agenda. Now, I imagine at some point people start getting closer to the midterms, might start peeling off and doing their own thing. But certainly I think at the beginning he's coming in with such a strong head of steam and such a singular unique and unusual personality in and of himself, and this leadership he's showing even from 2 days after the appointment was when I think he named Susie Wiles the chief of staff, first woman chief of staff in the White House, by the way, ever. So I think given all that, I think certainly the first year and a half, I think the GOP will stay for the most part united. After that, people might start getting itchy and going to do their own thing for the most part. But it is important. I really wish we had 225, 230 seats rather than maybe 219, 220 or wherever this ends up. I really wish that the National Republican Congressional Committee had done a better job handling the House races. I heard from someone that Kevin McCarthy raised about $400 million for that purpose when he was Speaker, and Mike Johnson's raised about 60, much lower. So I checked those numbers for sure, but that's something I was told by a candidate who, by the way, got very little money and lost a very competitive, winnable seat. And unfortunately, he came about 2,000 votes short. And if he'd just gotten probably $100,000, we'd probably have one more seat in the GOP caucus.
Yeah,
conference.
A massively influential seat swing with every race that gets called here at the end. Yeah, I think the Kevin McCarthy highlight is such an important one, too, because that was what he was known for. And he really did take the Republican House from a minority into what the only thing that succeeded in 2022 really for Republicans was that House swing, and then they bounced him right away. I just really hope that we don't get into that mess quickly once again.
I hope we avoid that nonsense. And the funny thing about, I've always kind of wondered, not always, lately wondered, are you better off with a tough, combative, effective, moderate, or somebody who's philosophically solid as a conservative but is very weak and not a good leader? And I think that McCarthy versus Johnson gives us an illustration of that. You know, I think in terms of his philosophical principles, Johnson's probably more of a real conservative than McCarthy, but just the inability to raise money, less of a combative nature, less pugnacious, and I think we find ourselves in a weaker position with him than with McCarthy, who might not necessarily be fully on board with the entire agenda, but when he's got his marching orders and he knows what's got to be done, he's much better at keeping the troops together and being able to get a media strategy and get a message out and pound it into a victory, as opposed to Johnson, who seems like he's great in terms of principle and philosophy and ideology, but just not very strong and very folds under the slightest bit of pressure. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds here.
Indeed, yes.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
it'll unfold well.
Deroy, we appreciate you as always and looking forward to our conversations here as we lead up to the inauguration. Thanks for being with us today.
You bet. Okay, very good.
Take care. Bye-bye. Deroy Murdock, nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, who joins us each Wednesday. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to dip into, just briefly, just give us a minute here, because Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about the Biden-Trump sit-down conversation today, and we got to know what she had to say. Don't you want to know how that went? Wouldn't you love to be a fly on that wall? Well, we'll find out when we come back, so don't go away. Karine Jean-Pierre gets asked about the little conversation that took place today between the current president and President-elect Donald J. Trump. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
STS-armory.com. I just completed my renewal of my conceal and carry this past Sunday, and it was so helpful to go get that renewal done with Jesse and Katie Johnson at STS-armory.com, STS Armory in Pontoon Beach. These folks are a just endless resource for information for you as a gun owner in the state of Illinois or a prospective gun owner in the state of Illinois. Whatever your questions are regarding firearms, ammunition, accessories, purchases, FOID cards, conceal and carry, educational courses, STS Armory, they've got you covered. And I want to give you a heads up right now. When I was there, Katie gave me a notice that they are having a free Ready, Set, Protect seminar. It's presented by STS Armory. It's Monday, November 25th. It starts at 6 p.m. at Heights Community in Collinsville, Illinois. And it's essentially a way to learn how to empower your personal security skills. This is all encompassing. And if you go online, STS Armory, they're listed as Soteria Training Solutions. That's what STS stands for. Go to their Facebook page right now. Like their Facebook page, Soteria Training Solutions and STS Armory, and learn about this event, the Ready, Set, Protect seminar. Just more information that you can get from these amazing people at STS Armory. Find them online at sts-armory.com.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too. To help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote, 800-296-3315. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-296-3315, 800-296-3315, or go to oxcarcare.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. The Mark Reardon Show.
Tuesday afternoon, the gang is all back after a respite on Veterans Day. We'll talk about some strange messages that I've gotten from left-wing friends. It all starts at 3.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Could dress up to get love, but guess what? I'm never gonna be that girl who's living in a Barbie world. Could wake up and make up and play dumb, pretending that I need a boy who's gonna treat me like a toy. I know the other girlies wanna wear expensive things like diamond rings, but I don't wanna be the puppet that you're playing on a string. This queen don't need a king. Oh,
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Gosh, I'm serious, and you might be feeling this way if you're listening right now. It's just like, oh yeah, Donald Trump won.
It's about during the show is different because we're constantly looking at news. But outside the show, it's probably just like everybody else in the regular world, is like about 2 or 3 hours go by and you go, what's the latest? What's new? What's happened?
I feel like I've underestimated the slog that this has been for so long. I mean, it's like you just, if this is an exaggeration, but like if you're going to battle every day, you just know what you know what the job is, you know what the task is, and you prepare yourself for that, and then you go do the job. Again, not in any way, shape, or form claiming that we have some sort of valor that exists with those who do the literal version of that, but you just have a mental headspace that this is what the job entails, and every time I cannot put into words, which is my job, I cannot tell you how much personally this has lifted a burden off of me. And every time I go to a new segment, I'm like, oh yeah, let's listen to Karine Jean-Pierre talk about Joe Biden sitting down with Donald Trump. That sounds like fun. I've never thought that about listening to Karine Jean-Pierre before. I'm like, we have got to hear this. Isn't that exciting?
Actually, yeah. It's weird.
Actually, yeah.
I can't. We got the puppy cam up on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. So sorry to y'all who are watching right now, and we're replacing the puppy cam with Karine Jean-Pierre. But it's worth it, and it's the job. Let's listen in, Brad, to what took place here just recently.
Regarding the meeting. Yeah. President Biden has given a lot of statements about his concern for the U.S. democracy. Did he share any of those concerns with President-elect Trump in their meeting about what he feels should be done or needs to be done?
So I'm not going to go into granular detail of what was discussed.
That's shocking.
In the meeting. What I thought can we get nothing but say detail. that it was indeed very cordial, very gracious, and substantive. And I mentioned at the top, national security was discussed, domestic policy issues were discussed. I had an opportunity to speak with the president in the Oval Office right before coming out to do this press briefing, because I wanted to make sure that I got what the president wanted to share with all of you. So certainly that everything that I'm saying is sanctioned, if you will, by the president. He wanted you all to know that the president-elect, again, was gracious, came with a detailed set of questions. It was, again, substantive. But I do want to take a little bit of a step back here, because it's really important to note, and you're going to hear me continuing to say this over and over again, the importance of having a smooth transition, an importance of having an orderly transition. The president respects the will of the American people and wants to make sure that occurs. That is what he believes the American people deserve. And so that is as far as I can go. That is what I am sharing with you from the president directly. And look, we're going to make sure, as Jake Sullivan was saying, that his team has what they need, right? They want to make sure that it is indeed an efficient, effective transition, so that we hand over the people's business so that they can continue the people's business.
Can you say how President Biden answered some of those detailed questions?
I will say that the president certainly looked forward to the meeting, appreciated the conversation, and answered any questions that the president-elect had, offered up his thoughts, but I'm not going to go any further than that. Get Mary.
You said gracious, cordial, substantive. The president obviously hit on a wide range of issues, but did he get a sense that the issues that he was impressing upon, that any advice he was giving was being well received?
I think so. I think that's why the president was wanting me to let you all know that there was a very good back and forth, and it was substantive, as I mentioned before, and I want to be mindful. It was a private conversation, so I don't want to go into specifics or details, but look, they met for more than 2 hours. They met for a very long time, or nearly 2 hours, pardon me, and I think by the length of the meeting tells you that they had an in-depth conversation on an array of issues. And so, look, the president reached out to the president-elect wanting to make sure that he gave an opportunity to the president-elect, afforded him that opportunity to have a meeting with him to talk about the different issues that matter to the American people. But nearly 2 hours says a lot about how the meeting went.
Any plans to keep a line of communication open?
The president is always going to obviously keep that line of communication open to the president-elect. We got to remember, this is not about the two presidents. This is not about
President Biden or President-elect Trump. This is about the American people and what's right for the American people. And if anything, the president has led by example, right, over the last week now on making sure that we have this cordial transition of power.
Just one other topic. President-elect Trump's nominee for defense secretary has questioned whether or not women should serve in combat roles in the military. Wondering what the administration makes of that. Is there any concern about women's ability to serve in certain roles going forward?
I think we've made ourselves really clear. I'm not going to speak to this pick. That's not the president's going. The president-elect is going to lay out his certainly his personnel and who he wants to fill these cabinet positions, who he wants to be in the White House with him, and we will give them the space to do that. But I think we've been very clear about how we see the importance of gender equality, the importance of women in the workforce. I think we have been an administration that has led on that issue, and certainly we do not agree with those views, but that is for obviously the president-elect to speak to his picks, and I'm going to let them do that. Okay, John.
You said the president-elect came with a detailed list of questions. That's surprising to me. What was on his list?
I'm not going to go into details of what was on the list. I shared that, and the president wanted you all to know that because we want to be very clear. It was actually a substantive meeting, nearly 2 hours. There was a lot discussed. There was a lot of back and forth.
Can you pause this for a second?
I'm not going to go into specifics. I think if the president-elect...
Why is Joe Biden so willfully negotiating in a substantive meeting with Hitler?
That is exactly what our commenters are saying, too, on the live stream. Yeah, let me pull up a couple, because I was going to say the same thing. Chris says, wait, Biden looked forward to meeting with Hitler?
Yes.
And then right after that, Ender goes, well, I do suppose it's good to hear they're leaning towards a smooth transition to Hitler. They've done this to themselves.
Well, this is the problem. I'm listening to this, and I'm going, like, this is encouraging. I don't doubt. I really, truly don't doubt. Well, let me just put a percentage on it. I think there is a 35% chance that Joe Biden voted for Donald Trump.
Okay. I see your 35.
I don't think it's likely, but I definitely think it's well within the realm of possibility. He's in Delaware. His vote's not in Pennsylvania. It's not going to throw the thing. Joe Biden was wearing a MAGA hat practically walking out. I mean, Joe Biden did wear a MAGA hat.
Yep. He looked like he was in his element. I don't know if you saw any of the 5 minutes, because they met for 2 hours, and Corinne Jean-Pierre was like, they met for 2 hours. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
It's really great.
They had a really cogent, responsible, and thoughtful conversation.
Yeah.
You call him Hitler.
It was substantive. And I want to say this again to your next question. It was substantive. And then to the next one. But regardless of that, they met publicly for about 5 minutes. There wasn't long that the press was there, and they were screaming questions, and they were just kind of sitting there in those like royal-looking chairs, just shaking hands and looking at the cameras and whatever. And then they went and back and had that meeting. But during that 5 minutes, when you saw Biden come out, I don't know that I've ever seen him happier as president.
He's so cheery.
He's like in his element, doing the jokes and having fun.
Yes, I can't get enough of it. I'm watching him, and I'm like, the dude is happy.
Yes.
He looks like he's been liberated.
It's true. It's so strange.
Viva America!
You're
Trump!
watching this like, well, this looks like a very nice little meeting they're having. Like they didn't just debate and one of them knocked the other out of the race. I mean, he's like, hey, this is actually a pretty good time we're having. Maybe he forgot.
Let's listen. Just tune back in, because this is. I just want to note that the discussion with the new Reich here went well, according to Corinne Jean-Pierre. Go ahead.
Wants to share his set of questions to President Biden. He certainly can and will if he chooses, but wanted to give you as much information as I could without going into too much specifics on a private conversation.
Was the list typed out on a piece of paper?
I don't have, I appreciate the effort there, Jeff. I don't have anything beyond that.
Did the issue of the fact that President Trump did not acknowledge President Biden as the winner of the 2020 election come up today?
What we want to do is move forward. We do. Really? No, seriously. What we want to do is move forward. We respect the will of the people. There was an election, as you know, last week, and the American people spoke. And so the president is going to make sure that he puts the American people first. He's going to make sure that we move forward in this process, in this transition process, in a way that is respectful to the American people, and to lead by example. And so that's our focus. That's what we want to do. I think the president has shown that in the past week of that leadership. And so that's what you're going to hear. That's what we're going to continue to do in the 68 days that we have left in this administration.
So, Corinne Jean-Pierre answering questions at this press conference. This is auditory, of course, but it's also, Ryan, I'm going to have you kind of narrate what happens here for those. They're going to hear some, but I want you to tell us the visual parts, because Joe Biden was standing at an event, I believe in the White House. Jill Biden is speaking. She's behind a podium.
Some are going to graduate. Joe and I are also preparing for what's coming next.
Joe does the sign of the cross.
Jill Biden's standing there, and I think they're talking about graduates or something or whatever. But it's Jill's stage. Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe's off to the right.
Joe's doing what Joe does, which is standing by and waiting for someone to tell him what's next.
Yeah.
And she says, Joe and I are also looking forward to what comes next. And he's just standing there off to the side, maybe 8 feet away from her, 6 to 8 feet to her right for what's next. And he does what every man who realizes that your retirement is about to set in and you're going to have to spend all this time at home together. And he crosses himself, as a Catholic would do.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
It's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's very funny.
Yeah, he pulls off a joke there.
I like this guy.
One. Yeah, this guy's all right. It's almost as if for a moment you forget that he is still the president and has had a terrible presidency. But at this moment, you're like, hey, all right.
Oh, the books that are going to be written. The stories that are going to be told. There are things crawling around X, as you would expect them to be crawling around X at this point, about how Joe Biden dropped out of the race and who said what and when and who posted the message of him dropping out. Remember when he dropped out on Twitter and didn't speak for days?
Oh, yeah. Everybody was like, is he alive?
I was on vacation. Trump had just been shot. Then within days, Joe Biden's like, I'm out. But he did it on X, which is just a really interesting place. I'm sure Elon Musk was grateful for that. And then the next thing he turns around is Kamala Harris for president. Wink, wink.
Yeah, within 15 to 20 minutes of the initial dropout, wasn't it? It was pretty quick.
There are lots of discussions about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the real details, on record testimonies of what actually took place. So Corinne Jean-Pierre, very positive and upbeat about the cordial and substantive discussion between President Joe Biden and President-elect Donald Trump.
Yeah, great.
Joe Biden, I just feel like he's going to be like, I'm going to tell you where all the bodies are buried.
Oh, I hope so. I hope he starts today.
Yeah.
I hope that's what the meeting was about with Trump.
Do you want Trump to pardon Hunter?
I have no opinion. I don't care one way or another. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't, also fine.
Do you?
I kind of do. Just, so Hunter was pardoned by Hitler. But I like the idea of it.
He should pardon him for the gun crime.
Just that.
Just that one.
And then buy some art.
I'll meet you halfway. We're strong Second Amendment supporters over here. Move that one aside.
I think the president gets to pick some of the things that hang in the White House. He should put up one of Hunter's paintings.
In the bathroom.
Wherever. Doesn't matter to me.
Put it over by the lockers where the cocaine was found.
By the lockers?
Wasn't it in a locker?
I have no idea what the White House is like.
Wasn't the cocaine found in a locker?
Yeah, it was by some, where people come in and check everything in and then go into the White House.
Wiggins America when we come back?
Yep.
Tease it up for us.
This is how to avoid job scams. So a lot more people looking for jobs right now. I'm going to try to help you avoid
Are you looking for a job?
getting scammed.
We're
I
always
can't
looking for
say
jobs.
about that. I'm just trying to help others.
All right. Join us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Come vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? Yes or no? We're going to start the 2 o'clock hour discussing this particularly. And I'm thinking that maybe if people have particularly interesting stories, should we take a phone call or two on that?
Yeah, I would be interested to hear if they do.
I'm more interested in people who have this experience to discuss it. No, everything's great. I eliminated all those people from my life a long time ago.
That's what I would do. I would call it and be like, no, I don't.
And I'm so aware of that I just said don't do that. Wiggins America on the Annie Fry Show next. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
RulerFoods.com, one of the main ways that the Fry family tries to save on groceries when we have to load up that cart. And we have 6 people in our house. One of them is a nearly 15-year-old boy. We go through a lot of groceries. Ruler Foods has savings that you can expect every time you shop there. And I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the special November savings. If you're shopping and you're trying to spread out maybe that November shopping for the big meal coming up here in a few weeks on Thanksgiving Day, right now you can go to Ruler Foods and save on Kroger frozen turkeys, a limit of 69 cents a pound. This is a great opportunity to save on one of the bigger parts of that meal. Fresh celery or Kroger cut and peeled baby carrots, 16-ounce bag, 89 cents each. Kroger green beans or corn, up to 15-ounce cans, 60 cents each. And Ryan, Jack's Pizzas, three for $10 when you buy 3. Not a bad deal.
I'll get 6.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It doesn't say there's a limit either. Get to Kroger or get to Ruler Foods before Ryan gets there and get your Jack's Pizzas in your cart. Kroger cheese, shredded or bar cheese, 3 for $5 when you buy 3 as well. And you can save on Pepsi, Mountain Dew, or A&W Root Beer 12 packs, 4 for $16 when you buy 4. The savings are there at Ruler Foods every time you shop, but a little bit extra for you this Thanksgiving season. Learn all the details online at rulerfoods.com.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe v. Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women before they cross state lines. Together, we can provide the love, support, and options that women need to choose life for their children. Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved since we began this mission with you. Each one is a miracle. Over the years, day in and day out, our team has walked alongside women facing the fear and challenges of an unexpected pregnancy. Through the support of this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit coalitionlife.com to give your vital support while reducing or completely eliminating your state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Neovite Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovite is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovite at neovite.com today.
If you're looking for all the comforts of home plus some in a senior living community, check out Hampton Manor of Wentzville, just off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. They'll even treat you to lunch. Set up your appointment today and tell them Mark Cox sent you. WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today, do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? A lot of people chiming in on this one. Love to hear what you have to say, whether you're yes or no. That's the options. But, of course, you can leave a comment on the YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Fry live stream. 148, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is happening now. Tune in to the Annie Fry Show live stream. Vote and be a part of the conversation by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. Subscribe and leave a comment. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Well, I understand the jobs market is not quite what you'd hope it was, and that's a surprise to everybody because when they released the job numbers, they look pretty good. And then about a month and a half later, they go, just kidding. They weren't as good as we said they were.
Always like that.
So I don't know how that happens. Seems like it's almost propaganda. But this is to help you if you are looking for work. And the first thing is you got to know how job scams work because this is apparently a big industry now.
Who in here is most likely to be scammed?
Probably Ethan.
It's not even here.
He's taking the shots while he can.
He's in Florida right now.
That's a shame. He can't defend himself. He's probably down there trying to figure out how to get out of a job scam.
He's probably trying to get his Disney World tickets corrected from buying them from somebody who had an offer he couldn't refuse.
I guess we'll have to ask him when he gets here.
He's not at Disney World. I don't think he's at Disney World. I didn't ask him.
Yeah, he's taking care of some business down here.
Yeah.
He's at Magic
It's the
Kingdom.
same thing that I would say.
Right, exactly.
I have
might
a
also.
podcast. I have a Disney podcast.
Yeah.
Hate me.
So if you are looking for a job, apparently impersonation scams are on a dramatic rise.
Like
so,
Shane Gillis?
Yes. If you see a really good impersonation, you'd be like, that was great. You see Gutfeld last night?
That's a scam.
That's
not really
that's not
Donald
really
Trump.
him, though.
Yeah, almost had me. Sounded like him, and then I looked and I said, there's something off.
Wait a minute. That doesn't look at all like that man. Scammers tend to use the name of an employee and certainly of a large company, and then they craft a job posting that matches the similar positions that might also actually be available. So an initial red flag is the job almost looks too good to be true. They'll make the job really appealing to as many people as possible, try to cast as wide a net as possible. And again, they're using a real person's name to do this at a company and a real company. So if you're on just regular job search websites, you're going to probably run into these at this point. And the tips I have here, they seem kind of obvious, but I kind of wanted to bring this up because I thought, gosh, it would be easy to fall into this trap because it looks official. So the first one is, if you apply for a job and a recruiter contacts you, it says don't respond to the message right away. Find out a little bit more about the recruiter if you can, and then look them up. And then if you can, contact that person outside of the means that they just contacted you.
Sure.
That's a great way to start.
That's with anything. Anybody who calls you is like, hey, you owe us money. Maybe you went to the hospital for something and you feel like, if you ever have to do something like that, it's like you've got bills from the hospital, you've got bills from the doctor, you've got bills from the anesthesiologist or the specialist or whatever it might be. So when someone calls you and is like, hey, you didn't pay this bill, I'm always like, that's probable. I always call, thank you for the information, and then you find that and call them back.
Yeah.
You don't be like, okay, here's my credit card.
It's really hard. I just got a text the other day from the post office, and it was from USPS.gov or whatever the real website was, but it was all / some other things that I wasn't familiar with, and I didn't want to click on it. It said, you have a package that's undelivered. And I had just sent something, so I'm like, well, it's very possible that that is that letter, but I don't know. You know, that's when you're the most vulnerable. They just happen to send it to you when you have just done that. So I didn't click on it, but I also didn't know how to find out whether it was real because I didn't have a tracking number. The only thing I had was that website they sent. If I type that in somewhere else, it's going to be the same fake website. So I still might have a package that did not get to where it was going just because I'm trying to avoid a scam. But that's one of the suggestions here is don't reply or click on links sent directly to you.
Yeah.
Seems obvious, but when you're looking for a job and you're like really excited about something, they give the story here of a young woman who she thought she got her dream job. And then they said, and this is another one of the points, they say, don't send anything to these people because what they did to her was they walked her through this long process. And that's what's amazing is that they will go through all this time. And you're like, somebody out there could actually devote this time to a job. Like instead of your job being scamming people, you could just work for a living. But apparently they do it.
I think it's probably lucrative.
It must be if there's enough people doing it or it's overseas. Have no idea. They walk her through this whole process. And at the very end, they're like, okay, here's your housing allowance. They hadn't sent her anything yet, but they're telling her all this stuff. We actually just need a deposit from you to get you all the work materials, your laptop and everything, and then we'll return that back to you. So she did it.
Oh.
So she did it. So she lost $1,000 or more just because it was all a setup for that $1,000.
It's like my rule of thumb is if you need money from me to give me money, I don't believe you.
I think that's a really good rule of thumb.
Just give me the money.
Another great way it says is to research the name of the recruiter that has gotten to you and check if that person has a verifiable social media presence. Very good idea. However, a lot of times they're using that fake name, so you can't just assume that's it. Last one here is if the company has a job opening on its website, then you could apply and directly through that website. So that's one way to, you can search for the jobs, but then if you see something you like, you could go to the company directly and apply directly. They also say don't deposit checks. So a common tactic is for scammers to send you a fake signing bonus. I mean, this is legit. This is big stuff. And then ask you to send some money back, supposedly to cover expenses, just like the story I said. So they'll pay you something, but then you got to pay them more back. So it's typical stuff, but it's just in an area that we haven't really talked about with looking for jobs. So there you go.
Great work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And by the way, if you do run into this, you can report the scam, and that'll end it pretty quickly on the FTC's website.
I really feel like any politician who campaigns on the elimination of people who get your cell phone number and scam you or call you and harass you and text you, like, there's a winning issue. If you can figure out how to stop that from happening, do that. All right, let's take a quick break. In the next segment, we're going to ask you this question. If you've got a story you want to tell, do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. We'll be back.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-5165. 800-499-5165. 800-499-5165. 800-499-5165.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is doubling their usual veterans discount on all products and services in November. That means veterans and active military get 10% off all month at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Details on their website. Schedule your annual garage door tune-up before winter really sets in. Just call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A long meeting at the White House. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. It started with a handshake as President Biden welcomed his predecessor and successor back to the Oval Office.
President Biden again offered his congratulations to President-elect Trump.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
President Biden invited the president-elect following last week's election win, pledging a smooth transition.
Politics is tough, and it's, in many cases, not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much.
President-elect Trump did not invite President Biden to the White House after the 2020 election.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House, where that meeting lasted for nearly 2 hours. The topics including the Middle East and Ukraine. Word coming a short time later that President Biden will hold a last meeting with China's president on the sidelines of a summit in Peru. Outgoing National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan.
If you look out at a strategic level, the competition with the People's Republic of China is going to be defining for what the world looks like over the course of the next 10, 20, and 30 years. And so that has got to be a paramount priority for the incoming administration.
Though he also says the most immediate threat is Iran and its proxy groups taking actions that threaten Americans and U.S. interests in the Middle East. Senate Republicans pick new leaders, with John Thune winning a vote by secret ballot to be the first new Senate GOP leader since 2007.
The South Dakota senator vowing to work with President-elect Trump and House Republicans.
We will make sure that the president and his team have the tools and the support that they need to enforce border security laws and to remove the violent criminals who are wreaking havoc in every one of our states.
Thune is now in place to become majority leader next Congress and replace Mitch McConnell.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. The president-elect just formally nominating or saying he'll nominate Florida Senator Marco Rubio to be his Secretary of State. America is listening to Fox News.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with DayQuil VapoCool. It's DayQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
What we see is what we get the rest of this Wednesday afternoon. Plenty of clouds, couple showers, 61 for the high. This is not a lot of rain, less than 1/4 of an inch. Tonight, any showers out of the picture very quickly this evening, but clouds will stay with us all night long, 46. The clouds are gone on Thursday. Plenty of sunshine and 59. Friday and Saturday, sunny and 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. This could be your final opportunity to secure the carefree villa home of your dreams at the Preserve in Afton. Free from the hassles of lawn care, landscaping, and snow removal. With prices starting in the 400s, we will build to order or select from one of our 6 move-in ready designer market homes and save thousands. And also receive $10,000 cash to close from the skilled craftsmen of the Mid-America Carpenters Union for closing cost or bite on your interest rate. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Did you know millions of people are getting prescription medications for weight loss, sexual health, better sleep, and more, all online? RexMD.com has made getting these medications fast and easy, with free delivery of the most popular medications right to your door. Just fill out a brief survey, and if appropriate, we'll prescribe and ship clinically proven options to help with issues like weight loss.
I've lost 45 pounds so far. It's nice to get back into clothes that I haven't been able to wear for a long time.
We can also help with insomnia.
I slept through the whole night. It made me feel very well rested and ready to go for the day.
And RexMD can improve your sexual health.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is happier. I am definitely much happier.
At RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
Now it's time for the Aftermath Analysis. Keep it here post-election to get details and commentary on everything the mainstream media isn't reporting on. Democracy 2024. The vision and strategy for 2025 is here.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's Wednesday, and President-elect Donald Trump has officially nominated Marco Rubio to be the Secretary of State. I absolutely love this pick. If you've listened to the show for long enough, you know that I've always been a Marco Rubio fan. I know a lot of people think he's a swamp guy. I completely disagree with that assessment. I think that, when we were talking, I guess we were talking earlier yesterday and about Marco Rubio, and the statement was made that Marco Rubio ran for president just a little too early. He had some more stuff to do before he would be positioning himself as presidential material. But I just always appreciated how he was the first person in Washington, D.C. that I thought actually represented it, like something that was younger than the old guard way of Washington, D.C. Marco Rubio spoke in a way that made me feel like for the first time he was talking to me as a parent, as somebody who's trying to, not just make do, but get ahead and working my butt off, my husband working his butt off to get ahead in this country. He champions that. His understanding of the Latino community, specifically in Florida, which has a lot of people from Cuba, Puerto Rico, all those communities that kind of make their home in Florida. It's just, I've always appreciated his forward-thinking approach, and I think that he's evolved a lot over the course of the years that I've seen him be in the Senate. So I love this pick. It's probably not for everybody, but I think that he'll do a wonderful job.
Well, everybody's saying they like the pick, which is rare. People have a lot of respect for Marco Rubio. He's one of those guys that there's so many politicians that whatever the issue of the day is, they'll just run to the camera. They'll take the side that you expect them to be on, and they will eloquently explain that side, and that's fine. Marco Rubio is a guy that throughout the years, he thinks independently. He'll come up with a take on an issue like immigration, for instance, that you hadn't been thinking about. And you appreciate that because you know that he's actually trying to come up with solutions on the inside and not just pandering to whoever's got the camera at the moment.
Well, the YouTube live chat poll for today is, do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election, yes or no? When we're talking about this, you see a lot of stuff on social media. Generally speaking, that's the extreme. But I do know people in my life who have family members who will not speak to them because they believe that, well, they did vote for Donald Trump. But the one family, I don't know anybody who is a Trump supporter who won't speak, who has cut people out of their life who don't support Trump. I know literally zero people like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I know multiple families where because the person who's in my life, who I know they support Trump, they have people in their lives who have said, I can't associate with you. And there is an active movement taking place on the internet with this, was it
4B?
4B. I was thinking HB2. That's something else.
Yes, it is.
4B movement where women are like, don't have sex the entire time Donald Trump is in the presidency. And I'm like, wow, what an interesting way to save the babies, leftist, feminist lunatics that are like, you're going to go on a sex strike for 4 years to show Donald Trump what's up. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. Why are you shaving your head? What are you doing? This doesn't have the effect that you think it does.
Donald Trump was going to nominate a swamp creature for Secretary of State, but he saw that and he's like, no.
Marco Rubio?
Marco Rubio.
Okay.
So it's having an effect. It's just not the one you want.
That's interesting take. So there are people out there who are dealing with this separation, and that, even if your guy won, that's still going to weigh heavy, especially going into a holiday season where you're supposed to have your family sitting around a Thanksgiving dinner table and celebrating what you're thankful for. And I assume that the thing that I'm most thankful for in this earthly world is my family. The people who are around that dinner table who take the time to share it with us, that's of utmost importance to me, and it's what I want to protect the most. And if there is going to be an empty chair this year because you've been cut out or whatever, that's a sad situation. So we're asking you, do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election, yes or no? We've got a couple people holding on the line. I'm going to take your calls here in a second. 314-241-9797. If you would like to tell us the situation about your fractured relationships, I'd be interested in hearing, because I do think that for folks who are on, air quotes, the winning side of this election, it is time to prove to these people that we are not the monsters that we've been made out to be. And you have to prioritize the important people in your life and establish the importance of these relationships, even when other people are not willing to do the same. If you want to leave us some comments, Ryan will watch the comments come in on the Annie Fry YouTube chat, and we'll feature some of those here in a second as well. So if you want to join us, 314-241-9797. I would like to start here with Carl. Carl, thank you for calling the show. We appreciate you reaching out to us. Tell us about your story.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I've been listening to you every day. If you don't mind, I just want to say two quick things. First, Annie, I was on hold the other day, about 2 weeks ago, when that Josh character was on the line, and he called you a nasty name. And I consider myself a conservative Democrat. I just want to apologize to you for that.
Wow,
thank you. I heard what he said, and it was terrible. And no one deserves to be talked to like that. I don't agree with everything you say, but respect needs to be around. I just want to say sorry about that.
Carl, that's very kind of you. I really appreciate that.
A lot of people didn't hear what he said, but I did because I was on hold.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry about that. Second thing is, real fast, I'll make this quick. I know people are holding. What you said yesterday about white people coming in to save the day. My God, I've been like they were in Seattle for 120 days. Thank you, white people, but go home. I'm okay. Go to work.
So can I interject here real quick and clarify? Your summation of what I said is correct, but just a little context about white people coming in. No. I appreciate you bringing it up. The idea of elitist white liberals in the Democrat Party is what we were discussing yesterday, and the criticism from within the Democrat Party. I don't know if it was James Carville or who it was saying like the elitist whites have been showing up and trying to be the saviors of these people who they kind of put out there, like for whatever particular reason, if they don't show up to speak for these people, then nobody will speak for them. And there are blacks and Latinos in this country who are like, we can speak for ourselves. Maybe they don't agree with the Republican Party, like they don't agree with the Republican policies, but they're not sitting around waiting for the right white person to come around and speak for them.
Thank you. Well said. So that part, and then I'll just go into what you were talking about. First off, I love Marco Rubio. Ever since 2016, he did come in too early, didn't have enough money. But let's just move forward. I was in the military for 10 years, and then I did law enforcement for 15 years, San Francisco detective for a while. It's going to be okay. My family, I'm African-American, they think, they believe everything he says, that we won't vote anymore. He's going to change the Constitution. They're scared. They're, afraid that, these tariffs means prices are going to go up on the consumption. And I showed them a clip from 1968. 1968 was a governor debate. There's still a clip about what was going on in society. And the three things they were talking about in 1968? The three big things: economy, immigration, and Middle East and race things in our country.
The more things
change. The same things we're talking about today.
Yeah.
It's going to be all right, people. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Even if Kamala would have won, y'all were wrong. Our country's not going to go bad if Kamala would have won. It would have been okay, too. It would have been bad for a minute, maybe, but it still would have been okay. We would have still been here. We've got to realize it's cycles. We're going to be fine. People were murdered so I can vote, so I'm voting every 2 years. So it'll be okay. And I told my whole family, they're just mad at me. I go, you're just conservative. I'm conservative, but I just want the best for everybody. I got 3 kids. Yes, I want more money in my pocket too, but that's not the only thing. And I said once before when I called, character means a lot. And I wish Donald would sometimes he talks and I just want to choke him till his eyeballs pop out. Just be quiet. Just do some things and make some things happen, please.
Well, so Carl, I appreciate your phone call, and thank you for your service, and thank you for listening to the show. I think that what we're going to get to see from Donald Trump right now is finally the action behind the words that we've been listening to for 4 years now, and he better put up. He's talked a lot about it. I think he will. I'm very much so looking forward to it, but now is the time for action. Carl, I hope... Go ahead.
He has a Senate in the Congress and the Senate and the Congress now, so it should be okay to get some things done.
Yes.
If he doesn't, that's a major problem.
Well, I appreciate you, Carl. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your service to this country. We're grateful for it.
Have a good day.
Yep, you too as well. Carl is fired up. I like it.
You know what's great is it sounds like, in light of today's poll question and kind of the topic that we're talking about here, do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? It sounds like he and his family very much disagree about what has happened, have very different worldviews, and they're still talking. That's great. Keep talking.
Yes. Keep having the conversation and care more about each other than you care about, like, air quotes, winning the argument. 314-241-9797. If we might be able to fit one more in here after Robin. Robin, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. How is your relationships? How are your relationships going after this election?
Well, first I want to say the relief I feel is profound. I voted for Obama, and I have felt like I have been working really hard when I figured how I stood was different than where he stood. And I started asking questions. And when I did, I was ostracized and really treated like crap for quite a long time. And so I was used to this. But when this incident happened, it happened on Facebook. And my guy posted something sweet but innocuous, like, here we are. Let's just work together. It's going to be okay. And his adult son lost himself and just started dumping and berating on Facebook in front of everybody. And then suddenly he slid into my DM because he had found out I was a Trump and was having a whole man about it. And he thinks his father doesn't know what he's doing, and I brainwashed him. And so anyway, it was a hideous email, message, and it's been sent through the family, and people are horrified because he basically did a character assassination on me. And the thing that got me was I can handle it from people I don't know, but man, to be called Hitler, yeah, it was real personal, and that I'm a bad person. I'm just those words were written. I'm an awful bad person, and he's in Denver, and 30, and part of that woke group, and just and I told him, I said, you can't really bully me. I know that's your attempt here, and he just went crazier. But I believe that the left has been bred into narcissism because his behavior showed a narcissist raging.
Robin, thank you for the phone call. I'm so sorry that is your experience. I'm so sorry that the intra-family stuff is the worst. And I feel like we have to make sure that we are treating these situations inside our families where you prioritize the family member. And I think that sometimes it seems like in this instance as well, that the number one thing you need to do is know when to just be silent. Let the other person say their piece. I mean, if the other person is 20 years old, I bet in 10 years they think a little differently. Maybe. But these people have been led to believe something incredibly alternative to reality.
And we're in a time right now where if you think somebody's going to really blow up, this is probably the week and a half, 2 weeks where it's going to happen. So if you can get through this time, hopefully things will start to change. Don't know if that's necessarily true, but I would think that if there was a blow up time, now is the time.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple. We're not going to take any more phone calls, but we've got a couple people hanging on the line right now, and I'm going to take their phone calls when we come back, and then we'll move on with the show. But I think that there are a lot of people who have a degree of what we just heard from Robin, what Carl said, where he's on this side. It's kind of the converse, being a Trump supporter in a larger family of people who are not Trump supporters, but being able to stick with it and stay with it. I think that these are stories that need to be heard and discussed, and we would like to share them with you. So we'll get to Tim and Mary Beth when we come back. So you guys hold on the line. We'll get to you as soon as we come back. More huge news in Donald Trump's cabinet picks. I'll tell you who that is when we come back. Don't go away.
That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel it.
The Retirement Advisory Group, they are there to guide you just very comfortably and excitedly into retirement. If retirement is around the corner for you, if you're in your late 50s, in your 60s, maybe you've just recently retired, you need to set up a free sit-down conversation with Thomas Helbig, with Bob and Tammy Kershaw. Sit down with one of them and start discussing the moves that you need to make at this important part of your retirement process to make sure you protect your nest egg. They've never had a client lose a penny of their nest egg. And when you call them at 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, you can connect with them to schedule that no-cost, zero-obligation retirement review and get it scheduled today. RetirementKey.com is the website. You can go learn all about the wonderful folks there. I've been working with them for a long time. They've been great sponsors of this show, of this station, longtime partners with us, with many, many people just like you in the position to make this phone call. They've done it, and they're so glad that they have told me that many, many times over. 314-993-9494, RetirementKey.com.
Past 3 seasons have gone south. We've covered one story per season. Now, Gone South is back for a 4th season. But this time, we're doing things a little differently. In Gone South Season 4, we'll be bringing you news stories every week with no end in sight. Listen to and follow Gone South, an Odyssey original podcast, on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
You entrusted a nursing home with the care of a loved one, but they violated that trust. If your family member has been the victim of nursing home neglect, call Onder Law at 844-BED-SORE.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 5-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
The American Cancer Society calls upon Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society. Voices of Black Women is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other health conditions impact Black women. Go to voices.cancer.org.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times. We haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Replace your old furnace or HVAC system and save up to $4,400 with double carrier cool cash rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Fry Show. I think it's interesting if you just kind of tick back to the first week of August. And when you're looking back at the first week of August, the first 10 days of August, there's a big story that hit. And it was Tulsi Gabbard talking about how everything in her life changed. And she was put on a terrorist watch list, a domestic terror watch list. Everywhere she went, when she would fly, she would have to be extra screened, that she was being watched the entire time. And it's just really kind of interesting to think about that, because Donald Trump has just named Tulsi Gabbard as the next pick for head of national intelligence. Axios reports that President-elect Trump nominated former Hawaii Representative Gabbard to serve as the director of national intelligence. The one-time Democratic presidential candidate endorsed Trump earlier this year. Trump said in his announcement, quote, "As a former candidate for the Democrat presidential nomination, she has broad support in both parties. She is now a proud Republican." It's straight to the point, Mr. President-elect. Tulsi Gabbard going to get some of the keys to the kingdom to make sure that we are not weaponizing our government against its people. And as somebody, I mean, how absolutely ridiculously offensive is it that our government would do that to somebody who has served in the military honorably, in Congress honorably, who has been a public servant for her entire life, to treat her the way they did. Now she is on the other side of that, and I look very much so forward to it. So this hour, we've learned Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and Tulsi Gabbard is the Donald Trump pick for head of national intelligence. We've been having this conversation, and we took a couple phone calls in the first segment about our poll for today. Do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? We're going to get to 2 more phone calls here, and then, Ryan, maybe you can highlight some of the comments that have come through if you want to join that conversation. Annie Fry YouTube channel. We're broadcasting live right there. Hello. You can vote in the poll. You can also leave a comment as well right there on our live broadcast, and we'll get to some of those here in a minute. Let's see here. Both not the same amount of time. Tim, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. Tell us about the relationships in your life and whether or not the election has affected it.
Well, actually, I ate luncheon out with a bunch of my old co-workers who were all union construction type workers. I won't get into the actual union or anything to keep anonymity, but everybody got along great yet. And I would say it was probably 50-50 who voted for Trump, who voted for Camille. And basically, everybody got along. Nobody talked about the gorilla in the room because the election was one-sided enough. I guess there's the rumor mills that could be trying to say, oh, this is what happened to cheated it out, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Everybody got along good. A couple of things were getting a little on the discussion, but everybody was cordial. Everybody worked together for 20 to 30 years. Everybody gets along great yet. You don't talk about the stupid stuff and nothing gets stupid.
And you prioritize the working relationships that you have. That matters more. Tim, that's a great anecdote. Thank you for calling us today. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Take care. Let's get to Mary Beth's phone call. Mary Beth, thank you for listening and for calling in. And let us know how the election has affected your relationships.
Can you hear me?
Yep, Mary Beth, go ahead.
All right. Well, the problem is I'm in my late 50s, okay? And I grew up with a group of people in North County here in St. Louis. And we were all friends and, we went on with our lives and we, raised our families, whatever. We grew apart, but we would get together a couple times a year, and now I've completely lost them. And I don't understand. I didn't really get into politics. I voted for Obama twice just because he was a nice guy. Okay, I heard him on the on a State of the Union, and he sounded like a great guy, and I voted for him. Okay,
yeah.
It wasn't until 2016 when I voted, and I have to say I voted against Hillary Clinton. Okay, I didn't vote for Donald Trump per se. I just voted against Hillary Clinton. So I voted for Donald Trump. Now, that night was when my eyes opened up on the networks. I was watching CNN and I was like, what do they mean we still got a chance? Aren't they, they're on one side? I didn't even, that's the first time I realized that the networks were, biased. Anyway, I kept talking to my friends on Facebook, and all of a sudden they said all the people who vote for Trump are racist. And I answered, I said, I voted for Trump, and I'm not racist.
Right.
And I get the reply, that's what all racist people say.
Oh.
Wow.
Mary Beth, that's terrible.
And I was like, this is someone who I grew up with from 12 years old. I mean, I know that, and I have another friend in that group who she can't even talk to me when she's with them.
Man.
You know, it's just sad. The whole thing is sad.
It is.
You know, because I mean, I can see it so. I'm not even that much educated, okay? But when you see I mean, nobody ever liked the government, and when you see the government fighting so hard against this man, then this is definitely who we want to help us.
Yeah. I appreciate
anyway,
Mary Beth, thank you for listening. Thank you for your phone call. I'm sorry that has been the experience you have, but hopefully with time they might come to a different conclusion, and hopefully at that point you're ready.
I just hope that he does what he says, and then everybody will just realize. You know, that's what I'm hoping.
All right.
So, okay.
Mary Beth, thank you for the phone call.
Thank you for listening to me. You guys have a great show. I listen to you all the time.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Tell them to listen to us. We would love that. I hate to hear that. Jaw-dropping news. Just absolute jaw-dropping news right now out of the Donald Trump appointment department. Donald Trump posts on Truth Social. It is my great honor to announce that Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida is hereby nominated to be the Attorney General of the United States. What? I can't even believe this.
What?
Matt is a deeply gifted and tenacious attorney trained at the William and Mary College of Law, who has distinguished himself in Congress through his focus on achieving desperately needed reform at the Department of Justice. Few issues in America are more important than ending the partisan weaponization of our justice system. Matt will end weaponized government, protect our borders, dismantle criminal organizations, and restore Americans' badly shattered faith and confidence in the Justice Department. On the House Judiciary Committee, which performs oversight of DOJ, Matt played a key role in defeating the Russia hoax and exposing alarming and systemic government corruption and weaponization. He is a champion for the Constitution and the rule of law. That is the third Republican congressman to be selected. There is a projected 3-seat majority in the House.
What?
A couple things, couple initial thoughts here. When Matt Gaetz goes to be confirmed, this is the first one where I've thought, I don't know. He's the only one I've thought so far would potentially have any trouble whatsoever being confirmed by a Republican Senate.
He will be the ire of every single Democrat in this country.
He's going to take the full, you know how in a movie when something really impactful happens and the bass goes when you're in a Dolby surround, it goes boo, and it comes like right up in your face. We're going to call that Matt Gaetz from now on.
If you thought that the Democrats were going to, have a united front, not that it'll matter with the minority, but if they were going to really come out hard against somebody like Pete Hegseth, that is in the past. They are now going to focus their efforts on Matt Gaetz.
Here's a perspective. Josh on YouTube said getting Matt Gaetz out of Congress is a very, very wise decision. Did Kevin McCarthy just poop his pants?
Yes. That
Oops,
did
I crapped
happen.
my pants.
Oops, I crapped my pants. And I used to be Speaker of the House. That is the name of his next book. This is a shock.
I have something to say about everything, but I need a minute.
Hey, this is one thing you can be sure of. He will not toe the Washington line in this position. I mean, you want somebody that's going to think outside the box.
Do you remember we'd have Mike Davis on the show? Super fiery lawyer. And he always said he wanted to be the acting attorney general. And he couldn't be the attorney general because he could never get appointed. And then he called it his reign of terror. I think Matt Gaetz could maybe trump him.
Wow. I didn't even know he and Trump were on.
Do we have a record scratch drop in there? Because anytime you want to play it, it would still be applicable.
I heard today was going to be quite a day. Still, he was not even in the conversation.
Matt Gaetz has been on the Annie Fry show.
He has. I remember that.
I don't remember. What were you guys talking about while I was booking Matt Gaetz in the segment leading up to the segment he was going to be on?
I do remember that.
And I was getting text messages, hey, do you guys want to have Matt Gaetz on the show? I'm like, heck yeah, I want to have Matt Gaetz on the show. One would work for you. They're like, you think 5-10 minutes? I was like, what? You guys were talking about pooping or something.
That's probable. I don't remember specifically.
I remember.
Brad, do you?
I remember trying to book it, and I needed you guys to carry the conversation while I made sure I got all my ducks in a row over here.
I do remember that.
And I remember like peeking into listening to what you guys were saying. I'm like, he's going to tune in and change his mind.
Were we talking about something like that cruise that got stranded at sea and it just got full of poop, and we were calling it the poop cruise?
I don't know.
See, that sounds familiar.
Something that we've talked about.
I do remember that if Matt Gaetz...
You were Attorney General?
You were about to book him for that moment, right? It wasn't just, I want to book him down the road.
I got contacted from his people and asked if we wanted to have Matt Gaetz on the show. And I'm like, of course I want to have Matt Gaetz on the show. And it was during the Illinois governor primary because he was in town for Darren Bailey. No, it was during the primary for Darren Bailey's attempt at running for Congress against Mike Bost.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got the text message like, do you want to have him on? And I was just assuming that they were thinking like this week. And they were like, now.
Now. Right now.
And you guys were talking
We're
about
like, poop
something
cruise.
super stupid. We got to go back and find out what that was. Because it was...
Yeah, we got to play the interview back at this point.
I don't think that's going to happen.
This
Matt
is incredible.
Gaetz.
Incredible.
There are not many things that catch me completely off guard. The Pete Hegseth thing stopped me in my tracks. This is that times 50.
We were just, at the beginning of this segment, we were talking, people were calling in, of course, you just heard. I look over at Annie, and she
you can see it
is
on the
looking
YouTube.
at the TV behind me and went, what? Not audibly, but as much as she could without saying it. And I had to turn around, and I had the same reaction.
Yeah, we're looking at different TVs across each other.
Everybody listening right now, if you're hearing this too, Matt Gaetz has been nominated to be the Attorney General of the United States. If your mouth just dropped, you are in good company. We all are shocked.
What is this going to look like?
What a couple of years this is going to be.
All of the nominees have to be confirmed with the cabinet. They all have to be confirmed. So,
Will Gaetz fight them in the nomination process?
Josh makes another good point here. He says, my one concern is that Gaetz as AG paves the way for partisan retribution, which I really, really don't want to see. I want the Attorney General to go after every ounce of corruption that they can root out. Anybody who has used government to take advantage of the American people, I want consequences for that. But I need there to be obvious. There needs to be an obvious case for it. Like when you watched what Joe Biden's Justice Department did. Man, the Matt Gaetz thing, to me, feels like how I felt about Trump in 2015 or whatever when he came out. I'm like, are you serious? And Donald Trump's been great. So we'll just sleep on it. I can't believe this. Woo! What?
I know. It does open the door for people like, oh, this is so partisan. He's such a MAGA tyrant or whatever. But
the Kamala Harris people have been slowly every day, every minute is a minute away from when they lost. This is going to take them right back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is right back to last Tuesday.
He won't be a Jeff Sessions if he gets confirmed. Like, if they launch an investigation or want a special counsel, his answer will be absolutely not. And that'll be that. And it won't go any further than that.
Regardless, whether it's him or anybody else, they've got to go after real crime. They have to have obvious evidence of those crimes. The exact opposite of the way the current attorney general has gone about his job.
What I've been looking for 4 years now is a DOJ that protects the people from the government, not the government from the people. And whenever you look at what the DOJ has been doing, going after people praying outside of and protesting abortion clinics and all that other stuff, that is not what it's supposed to be.
being domestic terrorists.
Yes, all of that stuff. I wanted a DOJ that would step in on behalf of the citizens. Citizens in Illinois, where they are being oppressed with unconstitutional laws about assault weapons, stuff like that. Weigh in on that for us. Help us, because that's who you're supposed to help. Will he be that person? I don't know.
Did you know Matt Gaetz was a lawyer?
I kind of figured most politicians had been lawyers, but I never thought about it.
It's an unfortunate default that you just assume that they have been lawyers, which I think is not great, that everybody in Washington, D.C. is usually some sort of lawyer of some kind. That doesn't really reflect the American people in total. But I wonder, he just has great top teeth.
There was going to be...
His top teeth are flawless. I don't know about his bottom teeth because I've never seen him.
There was going to be a headline tonight that everybody was going to read, because a lot of people have been tuned in after work. They were going to see Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, or they were going to see Tulsi Gabbard,
Man, those
DNI.
are two dramatic polar opposites.
Big picks. But instead of those headlines, they are going to see this headline, because this is the one that people are going to be talking about tonight.
MSNBC is going to be a firestorm tonight.
I might just watch MSNBC tonight.
Actually, let's just do that now. We'll just put it on.
Let's just do that.
Just watch the puppy cam, guys. Matt Gaetz, Attorney General.
Wow.
Every time I say that, I'm going to have another what moment.
1992, no fear. Everybody, no, Donald Trump has no qualms, no fear. He picks whoever he wants.
Zero fudge brownies.
Zero fudge given.
Fudge brownies.
Right.
Fudge brownies.
Fudge brownies.
Zero fudge brownies given. They're all for Trump. Let's take a break. I need a minute.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
What is this going to look like?
Do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? We'll get to your comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel next. My goodness. We'll be right back.
I'm a little let down, but I'm not dead. There's a little bit more that has to be said. You play me, now I play you too. Let's just call it over. All the broken hearts.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. Your flooring shopping is exciting when you decide to renovate that area in your home, in your kitchen, in your living room. Maybe you're finally replacing the old dingy worn carpet in your bedroom with fresh, new, just really strong and durable Mohawk Smart Strand carpet. Maybe you're going to get rid of the carpet altogether and you want to put a very nice Techwood Plus flooring down in there as well. Michael's Flooring Outlet has so many options for you to choose from, just not only in like finish, like this color versus that color, but also the technology that goes behind the different looks that you are trying to achieve. They can guide you through that whole process, and Michael's Flooring Outlet is a family-owned and operated local business that when you shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're supporting your local neighbors. I think that's a pretty cool thing. We've been wonderful partners with them for well over a decade, I believe, at this point. Michael's Flooring Outlet is the place to go for your flooring needs this weekend. Make sure you put them on your list and go visit them at one of their 3 locations across St. Louis. Online, though, at igotfloored.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Let us explain. If you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct today and decide in the future you want to upgrade to a larger diamond, Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. For example, let's say you bought her a $5,000 diamond last year, but now she wants to upgrade to a $6,000 diamond. Diamonds Direct will give you $5,500 toward the new one. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Whether that first diamond was $3,000 or $30,000, you get 10% more. Who else does this? And unlike other stores who claim to offer diamond upgrades, at Diamonds Direct, there's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Come and discover real value and buy with confidence. Proud to call the Lou home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitin.com.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
We've been talking about the YouTube live chat poll. The question being, do you have fractured relationships over the 2024 election? Thanks for everybody who's called and so many people who've chimed in on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat page. One of the comments here from Kurt I wanted to read. Yes, I have, but it's really my support for Trump in general more than the outcome of the election. One member has asked me to keep their vote for Trump a secret to avoid family repercussions. What's your story? Let us know. Log on to the Annie Fry page on YouTube. It is 2:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So many questions I need an answer. 2 years later, still on my mind.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Just rapid fire news hitting us left and right here during the show today. Was Marco Rubio the first announcement? I feel like, well, we got Senator John Thune as the majority leader. That happened earlier this morning. We have found out that Marco Rubio is officially the Secretary of State nominee in Donald Trump's cabinet. We have found out that the Director of National Intelligence, that has been given to Tulsi Gabbard. She is the nominee there. And just within the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, the Attorney General for Donald Trump's cabinet, the pick, Congressman Matt Gaetz. Yes. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. This could go a lot of ways, and whatever way it goes, it will go there quickly.
You know, a lot of people are going to have a lot of opinions about this. You know who doesn't care about that?
Matt Gaetz. And Donald Trump.
And Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They are, man, it's so funny because we just got done saying, yeah, Rubio, he's just universally liked. Even if you disagree, even if you're far left, you got to say, yeah, Rubio's a
You're
good
still
guy.
cool with having him on the team.
He's, in my opinion, he's a very independent thinker. Comes up with really, good solutions, really just like angles at things that you wouldn't think of. Yet he seems to get along with his colleagues.
It's a little feisty.
And he is in a good way. And that's kind of the politician that you would hope for because they can get a lot done and they're bold about it and get a lot done in a good way, not just like, oh, let's just get things done to spend money. But he's a good guy. Then
Matt Gaetz is just a fireball.
It's like he lives to make controversy.
Yeah.
And there are some things about that I really respect. I really, really gravitate to people like that who just are like, look, I do not care. I'm going to do what I think is right.
Well, if that's what it is. But if you are creating fireballs and controversy for the sake of creating fireballs and controversy to up your brand, then I don't have respect for you.
Agreed.
There have been a lot of accusations that Matt Gaetz is there to create a brand for himself. I don't know how many Congress people, senators or House representatives alike, aren't interested in having a brand and making a name for themselves. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You just have to have your priorities in order. And honestly, I'm going to go back and look at Matt Gaetz's district and see what the margins are on his victories there. Because, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she wins by greater margins with each passing election. AOC, she's not struggling at all. So it's the great thing about the House of Representatives is you're representing. It's the closest to the American people that the federal government gets. A small district, you get to choose. You don't get to have somebody in some opposite color state dictating to you that. The AOCs and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes are in with the same responsibility in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now to try to find. So he's District 1. It's in the Panhandle. I'm trying to find the district lean. It says that Donald Trump would have defeated Joe Biden, I think in this district, 65% to 33%. So that's a pretty big margin. I don't know if that's for Gaetz, but that's for Donald Trump over Biden in 2020.
Ender says on our YouTube chat, if Gaetz really makes things happen, goes after the right people, and does a great job defending the people, then is it that bad that he carves out a name for himself that way? No, not at all. Just do the job. I mean, good grief. All Donald Trump does is produce. Like, everything is a visual. You're consuming a production of Donald Trump's, and he's probably the most egotistical of them all, but he doesn't shy away from that. He doesn't pretend it's something that he's not. I respect him for that. The YouTube live chat poll for today, which we've been talking about taking phone calls on and stuff so on throughout the course of the show. Do you have broken relationships over the election? Yes or no? Ryan, do you?
No, I don't. And I don't know that I ever have since Trump's been in office. I've definitely had some disagreements with some good friends. And I don't talk to those friends as much as I used to, but I don't think that really has anything to do with politics.
Betsy says no, unless I'm just unaware, which I suppose is a possibility for all of us. What about you, Brad?
I have been blessed with friends and family who either A, agree with me politically, or B, just don't think that that's something that's that important to discuss. And then we just go to family events and I don't think I've ever talked about politics at a family event. So it's just something that never makes the radar. So I haven't lost anyone.
Kurt said, and this is the one that Ryan highlighted in the time check, one member of his family has asked him to keep their vote for Trump a secret to avoid family repercussions. I mean, that just is a sad place to be. I'm with you, though, Brad. Like, you don't have to have the conversation. You really don't. It is what it is, whether it's your guy that's in office or your girl that didn't make it. What is. And so we'll wait and see how it materializes. Be willing to criticize when criticism is due. And hopefully, as I think most Trump supporters think, that this is going to be better for everyone, whether you voted for him or not. Andy said, no, family and friend relationships are more important than politics. And Andy, I think that is 100% the right way to look at it. The YouTube live chat poll, we asked you what your thoughts were on this specific question. Do you have broken relationships over the election? 320 votes in today. 69% of you said no, you don't. 31%, almost a third of our audience says that they do. I really hope that you're able to mend those relationships, have patience, let them kind of have their moment to feel upset, and just give them reasons to look at you and be like, they just seem like they're at peace with this. Why do they seem like they're at peace with this? Make them ask those questions. Keep it right here. The Mark Rudin Show is next.
Gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader?